Chapter 2208. Night Sorrow told Huang Ling about the holy nature of the World Tree. He also said that the selected people had to be chaste. Hearing this, Huang Ling was stunned. There's such a requirement? I don't know about this either. Go and ask now. Don't waste your time. Watching Huang Ling leave, Night Sorrow also knew that this request had come too suddenly. Cultivators had 7 emotions and 6 desires. Some people cultivated the heartless Tao, but very few. Most people had feelings in their hearts. They would have Tao companions and would get married to have descendants. An hour later, Huang Ling and the Heavenly Astral King arrived at Night Sorrow's residence. Huang Ling looked a little embarrassed. Young City Lord, I've embarrassed myself this time. Other than Fei, the others can't do it. This group of people is not tight. They really don't live up to expectations. Huang Ling was a little embarrassed because the selected people did not give her any face. It's okay. Just let nature take its course. Night Sorrow smiled. This was within his expectations. It was good that they were not completely wiped out. You're still in the mood to smile? There's only one left. Huang Ling was very shocked. G=E positive R version hashtag. First eye hair. Actually, the one who succeeds is often the only one. Night Sorrow poured a cup of tea for Huang Ling. The Heavenly Astral King patted Huang Ling's shoulder. Young City Lord is right. One is enough. More are just decorations. You too. He said it's okay and you also said it's okay. Huang Ling rolled her eyes at the Heavenly Astral King. The Heavenly Astral King smiled. Night Sorrow don't mind. Women are all like this. Night Sorrow smiled. He knew that this was a sign of a good relationship between husband and wife. After chatting for a while, the Heavenly Astral King and Huang Ling left. After leaving Night Sorrow's residence, Huang Ling said, Fortunately, Fei did well. If she didn't have chastity and the selected people were all wiped out, the two of us would really lose face. The Heavenly Astral King nodded. He naturally understood that if the selected people were not good, they would have wasted 30 years. They would not be able to explain this to the Heavenly Desolate City Lord. Night Sorrow brewed a pot of tea for himself. He was mentally prepared that the members chosen by the Ice Phoenix race would encounter problems. What are you thinking about? Aoi sat beside Night Sorrow. Nothing much. Did Master and eldest senior brother go back? If you don't go back, then try to persuade them to stay in Sky City for a few more days. Night Sorrow asked. Aoi shook her head. They all went back. Eldest senior brother's attitude has changed. He wants to deal with the Medicine Valley with a heavy blow. Master naturally has to support him, so they all went back together. Night Sorrow nodded. He knew that some things were inevitable. In the past, Gong Xian had an attitude of letting go, but now it was time for him to act. 13. I don't like Lin Jingyi. Some of her mistakes in the past can be explained by the fact that her relationship was not smooth and she was young. However, there are some things that she has no bottom line for. If she was serious about managing the family, such things would not have happened. The Lin family, a second-rate family, is so arrogant because of her support. Don't see her in the future. Aoi looked at Night Sorrow and said, If 6th senior sister says she won't see me, then I won't see her. I will listen to 6th senior sister. She probably won't see me in the future. Night Sorrow smiled. If one asked who Night Sorrow listened to the most among his wives, it would be Aoi. Aoi rarely asked Night Sorrow for anything. Everyone thought that Aoi knew right from wrong and understood the big picture. If the Medicine Valley has really changed, we can still go back more often. I like the Bamboo Forest Pavilion and the Bamboo Forest Peak. Aoi said. Night Sorrow nodded. All right. I will go back with you when I have time. Don't take this matter to heart. Lei Bao, Lei Zheng and Yun Huang were forced into a corner. If it was me, I wouldn't have let this matter go so easily. They have already restrained themselves. Night Sorrow knew that Aoi was a sensitive woman who valued relationships. I know. Why would I blame them? The Thunder Rumbling clan was suppressed so badly by the Medicine Valley in the past and they endured it. This time they really went overboard. 6th senior sister, you understand. Aoi smiled. She knew that Night Sorrow was being considerate towards her, and was afraid that she would have a knot in her heart. After that, Aoi told Night Sorrow about Yi Qingyan and Zhan Yi. She told him about the development of their relationship. She wanted Night Sorrow, as a father, to care more about her. Sixth senior sister, I have known about this for a long time and have also noticed it. Zhan Yi has a good heart and is open-minded and kind. All these years, I have been teaching him like a child. Night Sorrow smiled. You didn't tell me anything and made me worried. Aoi glanced at Night Sorrow. Children and grandchildren have their own lives. Zhan Yi is eldest senior brother's child. It's good that we know his background. We don't have to care about their matters. Night Sorrow poured a cup of tea for Aoi and said, I am relieved that you know what to do. Here are some robes. Aoi took out a few battle robes and handed them to Night Sorrow. Haha. If you want to marry a wife, you have to find someone who loves you. Zhan Yi might not be so lucky. Your daughter is not like you in this aspect. Night Sorrow said after keeping the robes. That's not right. Women change. Once they find their other half, their thoughts will change. The most important thing is whether they love him enough. Yang Lei walked over with a pair of battle boots in her hands. Haha. Yes. Look at your ninth senior sister. She used to have a big personality, but now she knows how to care for you. Aoi laughed. This is my fortune. Others can't be envious. Night Sorrow felt warm in his heart. His family was harmonious, his wife was virtuous, and his son was filial. This was what he was most grateful for. Yes, if one isn't enough, you can marry two. If two isn't enough, you can marry three. How can you not be blessed? Yang Lei sat down and looked at Night Sorrow with disdain. Night Sorrow didn't know how to reply. He felt a little awkward. You don't know, right? Father gave the order to the children. The boys can only marry one. Before the girls get married, they have to make an important request. They can only marry one wife. Otherwise, there's no room for discussion. The Yi family girls can't marry. Mother also supports this point. Aoi laughed. Yes. I didn't do this well. I don't have the face to say this to the children. The parents made a good request. Night Sorrow rubbed his face. He had always been strict with himself, but when it came to marriage, he really didn't do it well. Seeing Night Sorrow's embarrassment, Aoi and Yang Lei both laughed. This was because only they could see Night Sorrow like this. There's one more thing I didn't tell you. We threw Ling Shi into the celestial realm. We told him not to return home until he made a few friends and brought a few close friends home. Yang Lei said. That works. That's right. Ling Shi can't always play by himself. This is a good idea. After being stunned for a moment, Night Sorrow felt that this was a good idea. We discussed it together. We asked him not to reveal his identity. This way, he can have true friends and true love. Aoi said. Chapter 2209. Aoi and Yang Lei looked at Night Sorrow with disdain. However, they couldn't refute him because the children of the Yi clan were indeed outstanding. This was publicly acknowledged in the 9 regions world. Most importantly, they were virtuous and had inherited the Yi clan style. The children's talent is one thing. The main thing is that they were brought up well. Of course, the children were taught by you. It's all thanks to you, Night Sorrow said. These were his heartfelt words. He had always been fighting outside and didn't really care about his family and children. You didn't interact much with the children and didn't teach them verbally. However, no one taught them better than you. You are a role model in front of them. They are also strict with themselves. Aoi nodded. She knew that Night Sorrow didn't spend much time with the children. However, he was definitely a qualified father. After chatting for a while, I'm really happy. Let's go to the restaurant and have a good meal, Night Sorrow said as he stood up. Aoi and Yang Lei were also very happy. Night Sorrow's current state was very rare. Night Sorrow accompanied his wife to the restaurant in the Immortals' capital to eat. Unexpectedly, Night Sorrow met Yi Xiaoluo. Yi Xiaoluo was also drinking in the restaurant with his friends. Yi Xiaoluo wanted to greet them, but Night Sorrow and the other two turned their heads and pretended not to see them. Where were we? Yi Xiaoluo looked at his friends at the same table when he saw that his father and aunt didn't want to see him. You said 1 against 3. Continue. Let's see where you can go. A woman said. I'm serious. I'm not lying. Yi Xiaoluo pouted. 1 against 3? Forget it. It's not that interesting. His Majesty the Human Emperor defeated 5 Imperial Emperors on the Nirvana Ocean Bridge with his Emperor Realm cultivation. We'll talk about it when you can defeat 5 Imperial Emperors. Next topic. Come, let me moisten your throat first. The woman poured a cup of wine for Yi Xiaoluo. Lu Yu, it's boring for you to chat like this. I'm in high spirits. Do you think I'm bragging? Yi Xiaoluo said unhappily. Everyone at the table was laughing and asking Yi Xiaoluo to continue. Night Sorrow smiled at Yang Lei and Aoi. I can see that this guy is not like me, but he's living a happy life. Very good, a bunch of high-spirited kids together, this is life, Aoi said with a smile. Little guy. Any one of them is older than us, Yang Lei muttered. The truth was just as Yang Lei had said. Those who came out to train in the celestial realm and were at the same cultivation level as Yi Xiaoluo were not young. Night Sorrow's father could not even compare to them. After all, it was rare for a genius to have such achievements at such a young age. Xiaoluo, you are a cultivator from the Primal Chaos region. It is said that the human emperor used to be from the Primal Chaos region. Have you seen him before? Lu Yu, the woman sitting beside Yi Xiaoluo, asked. Yes, it's very common. Yi Xiaoluo nodded seriously. TSK. Shoo. Everyone at the table was mocking him. Although they were mocking him, there was no disdain in their eyes. They were all joking. A bunch of bastards. How am I supposed to play? How am I supposed to drink this wine? Yi Xiaoluo slapped his forehead. He was telling the truth, but no one believed him. Aoi and Yang Lei wanted to laugh. They were really happy to see Yi Xiaoluo like this. Xiaoluo, lower your voice. Look at how quiet and civilized their table is. Pay attention to your manners. Lu Yu tugged at Yi Xiaoluo's sleeve. My voice is a bit loud, but you can't say that I have no manners. It doesn't sound nice. Yi Xiaoluo lowered his voice. He felt embarrassed that he was being called uncivilized in front of his father and aunt. No one else would do that except him. 6. Look at the original chapter. Night Sorrow, Aoi, and Yang Lei casually drank 2 cups of wine and had some food before leaving. Before leaving, Night Sorrow called for a waiter. Pay for that table too. That's not good. How can we do that? We have disturbed the 3 of you. Lu Yu stood up and said. It's nothing. It was fun listening to you guys chat. If there's a chance, you guys can treat us to a meal. This is good karma. Night Sorrow smiled and nodded at Yi Xiaoluo. Young people are not bad. You are high-spirited. That's how it should be. After Night Sorrow and the other 2 left, Yi Xiaoluo and the others sat down. Those 3 are not simple. A man said. His name was Jing Yu. He was the oldest person at the table and also the one with the highest cultivation. He was an emperor. His aura is extraordinary. That man's smile is like a spring breeze. It can penetrate the bottom of one's heart. Although his eyes are calm, they can see through everything. Lu Yu said. The 2 women are emperors. The man is even more unfathomable. He looks like an ordinary person. Can he be an ordinary person? Obviously not. Then there is another possibility. He is at least an emperor. Jing Yu said. There are only so many emperors in the celestial realm. Which one is it? Lu Yu muttered. If I say I know, you guys won't believe me. Yi Xiaoluo said. Then don't say it. 8 out of 10 sentences are unreliable. Fortunately, he is reliable. Otherwise, Lu Yu looked at Yi Xiaoluo with disdain. In the eyes of the group, Yi Xiaoluo was righteous and sincere to his friends. However, they did not listen to him. Yi Xiaoluo sighed in his heart. He really knew, but no one would believe him. There were some things he did not want to say. He did not want their friendship to become impure. The group of them did not care about family background. They only cared about personal relationships. We are done eating and drinking. We have to continue. We still have to dig out more spies from the demon wing race. In addition, I plan to join the Heaven Wasteland Army. I don't know what you guys think. We will have fewer chances to meet in the future. Jing Yu said. I have to consider this. I have to ask the elders. Yi Xiaoluo said softly. I have to ask the elders too. Lu Yu looked at Jing Yu and Yi Xiaoluo and said. Don't worry. We have communication crystals. We can meet at any time. Even if we are separated, we can send a message if anything happens. Brothers, friends, this is for life. Another man said. His name was Lang Li. He was the first to know Yi Xiaoluo. How do you feel seeing your son like this? After leaving the restaurant, Yang Lei laughed and asked. Interesting. It's good. Night Sorrow also laughed. He felt that this was real life. Lingxi will be like this in the future. Aoi said. She knew that Night Sorrow was most worried about Yi Lingxi. As for Yi Xiaokei, he was just a little tyrant. He lived in the ethereal empire. That was his mother's territory. Night Sorrow, Aoi, and Yang Lei only went to the divine capital for a drink before returning to the Heaven Wasteland City. His cultivation realm and combat skills had reached a bottleneck. Night Sorrow's life was quiet. On Night Sorrow's day, he met Pu Luo. Alliance Master, Lu Qi has successfully entered the tribulation of the 6 emperors. He wants to celebrate. Shall we go to his Lu family manor later? Pu Luo brought news of Lu Qi. Chapter 22:10. Of course, we have to prepare some gifts. Night Sorrow nodded. Lu Qi had helped protect Xingyue City for so long, so he was very grateful. Okay, I'll go ask the Great Demon King and the others. If you want to go, we'll go together. Pu Luo said. After sending Pu Luo off, Night Sorrow took out 100 Monarch Spirit Stones and 2 Emperor Spirit Stones and put them away. He didn't need to think too much about it. Using Spirit Stones was the most practical way. The Lu family manor is very famous in the celestial realm. However, I've never heard of a disciple of the Lu family traveling in the celestial realm. Lin Piao Miao, who had been in the manor, said. Maybe it's like our family. The disciples of the family don't report their background when they go out. They rely on their own abilities. Yang Lei smiled. Some families were like that. Night Sorrow and the others nodded. They all supported Yang Lei's point of view. Then let's wait for the news from Pu Luo's side and go there together. A tribulation of the 6 emperors has appeared among the 100 clans of the Heaven Realm. This is great news, Yishang said. He was very happy to hear this news. Pu Luo returned quickly. He still had some things to do with the Great Demon King. He would go with the Great Demon King, Yu Zhu, and Ruisi later. He wouldn't go with Night Sorrow. You guys go. I have to watch the Divine Devil Castle and see if there's any news from the Demon Winged clan. You can represent me. Lin Piao Miao said. She had a lot of things to do now. Night Sorrow nodded. Everyone knew that Lin Piao Miao was busy. Lu Qi didn't mind. After preparing the gifts, Night Sorrow took Aoi and Yang Lei to the teleportation array and set off. 4 hours later, the 3 of them arrived at Lu Qi's family territory. Because of Lu Qi, the Lu family was a famous family in the celestial realm. However, they didn't have much contact with other forces. It was a quiet and peaceful area. Lu Qi lived in a simple place called the Lu family manor. However, the manor was very big. The direct descendants of the Lu family all lived here. Night Sorrow and the other 2 arrived at the Lu family manor's teleportation array. As they enjoyed the scenery along the way, Yishang and the other 2 arrived at the entrance of the Lu clan's manor. Lu Qi was already waiting. Both he and Yishang were mid-stage Imperial Tribulation cultivators, so they could sense each other's aura. He could also identify Yishang's aura. Young City Lord, you're so busy but you still came. Please come in. I have to drink with you and the 2 young madams today. Seeing Yishang grow up and reach the middle stage of the 4 Emperor Tribulation, Lu Qi was very pleased. After entering the manor, Lu Qi took the 3 of them to a quiet courtyard. Lu Yu, take out the great ancestors' good tea to entertain the guests. A woman came out with a pot of tea. Seeing Yishang and the other 2, the woman was stunned. Yishang was also stunned because she was the one who was drinking with Yi Xiaoluo at the same table. Why are you 3 here? Lu Yu said after being stunned. What do you mean you 3? Don't be rude. Hurry up and greet the human emperor and his 2 wives. Young City Lord, please don't be offended. Lu Qi glared at Lu Yu. Ah! Lu Yu greets the three lords. Yi Xiaoluo, this scoundrel, really knows how to swindle people. How dare he say he's seen the mortal emperor? That day, the mortal emperor was right in front of him, and he didn't even recognize him. Yi Xiaoluo, young city lord, isn't that your family's fourth brother? Lu Qi was a little confused. He looked at Knight Sorrow and then at his great-grandson Lu Yu. He had stayed in Xingyue City for a long time and knew Yi Xiaoluo. Haha. Seventh sect elder. You must be joking. Our family's children don't talk about their background and family matters when they go out to train. This way, they can have true friends and find Dao companions in the future. Their feelings will be pure. I support this. That day, Xiaoluo was drinking with his friends. I met him by chance and didn't let him say hello. You're Lu Yu, right? You can't blame Xiaoluo for this. Knight Sorrow said with a smile. That's too abrupt. I'm familiar with Xiaoluo. I didn't mean to scold him. Lu Yu was a little embarrassed. Scolding a child in front of his parents was a little unreasonable. Latest chapter Boo Festival %2 it's nothing. As his father, I support him to have his own life. He can't be influenced by his elders. I believe that your circle doesn't know that you're a descendant of the seventh sect elder, right? Knight Sorrow shook his head. Lu Yu nodded. She also never said that she was a descendant of the Lu family manor. The two of us have the same view. Our achievements are the result of our own hard work. We can protect the future generations from being bullied, but that is not the right for them to flaunt their prowess. Lu Qi nodded. Your Majesty and Great Ancestor, your realms are too high. Only now do I realize that Xiaoluo is telling the truth most of the time. We're a bunch of fools. We all thought that he was bragging. Lu Yu was still cursing Yi Xiaoluo in her heart because this made her lose face. Haha. Now that you know, it doesn't affect anything. No matter what you do, it's important to have a good start. In the celestial realm, I admire the children of the Yi family the most. Every one of them is so outstanding. The Yi family was the biggest winner in the Heaven, Earth, Human, and Monarch ranking assembly. Lu Qi gave Knight Sorrow a thumbs up. Seventh sect elder, you're too kind. The Yi family is a new family. There's still a long way to go. Knight Sorrow said. You can see the future by looking at the present. The Yi family is virtuous and has a good family style. This is the inheritance, Lu Qi said. Then, Lu Qi apologized. In order to improve his realm and cultivation, he left the Tianhuang city and the sect elder's stall. Knight Sorrow and Lin Piaomiao had to work hard to take over. Seventh sect elder is too polite. This is a small gift to congratulate seventh sect elder. Knight Sorrow took out the gift. Great Ancestor, take a look at what His Majesty gave. Lu Yu was very interested in Knight Sorrow's gift. Lu Qi glared at Lu Yu. It was very impolite to open a gift in front of a guest. I'm a careless person and don't know how to choose a gift. I just took some high-level spirit stones. I hope it will help seventh sect elder. Knight Sorrow smiled. He felt that Lu Yu was not bad. She was not pretentious and said whatever she wanted. After looking at the gift, Lu Qi shook his head. The young city lord is in charge of the Tianhuang city. There are many places that need this. I can't accept it. Knight Sorrow said that he still had more. Only then did Lu Qi reluctantly accept it. His Majesty, I want a gift too. Lu Yu shouted. Knight Sorrow rubbed his forehead and looked at his two wives. I didn't prepare anything. What's suitable? You bastard girl. You're getting more and more out of hand. I love you the most in the family. You're going to turn the world upside down. Lu Qi looked at Lu Yu and laughed. He knew that Knight Sorrow wouldn't mind. I heard that His Majesty is an emperor-level blacksmith. I want a weapon. It doesn't matter if the weapon is good or bad. It's fine as long as it has His Majesty's signature. The most important thing is the words. Lu Yu said. In fact, she didn't care about the gift at all. What she wanted was Knight Sorrow's signature. Chapter 22:11. Even if your Majesty knows, don't say it out loud. It's too awkward. Lu Yu said with a smile, but she didn't feel awkward at all. Then I'll make it for you. Knight Sorrow nodded and began to search for the materials. Bastard girl, hurry up and make tea. In addition,
Go and take the 2 jars of wine that the great ancestor treasures and arrange for the servants to prepare the dishes.
After Lu Qi chased Lu Yu away, he looked at Night Sorrow with an embarrassed expression. He hadn't expected Lu Yu's move. Night Sorrow nodded at Lu Qi and took out the Clear Sky Pagoda. He entered the Clear Sky Pagoda and began to forge the weapon in the time acceleration. He didn't need to ask Lu Yu for anything. Lu Yu had a sword at her waist and Night Sorrow could see her attributes. That was enough. Half an hour later, Night Sorrow appeared with a long sword. Lu Qi was talking to Aoi and Yang Lei while Lu Yu was listening. Seeing Night Sorrow come out and the long sword in his hand, Lu Yu's eyes were filled with excitement. It should suit you. See if you like it. I haven't forged weapons in a long time. Night Sorrow handed the weapon to Lu Yu. At this moment, Lu Yu carefully tidied her robes and bent down to receive the sword with both hands, showing her sincerity. Extreme to the sword, extreme to the Tao. Very good. I hope this weapon will be of use to you. Night Sorrow placed the sword in Lu Yu's hand. Lu Yu was a little presumptuous today. I hope your majesty and the 2 madams won't take offense. Lu Yu will pour wine to apologize later. Lu Yu bowed to Night Sorrow. He won't. Yi Shan shook his head. Lu Yu, you have to remember that the Yi family doesn't lack magnanimity. Otherwise, great ancestor would have coaxed you out. Lu Qi looked at Lu Yu and said. Lu Yu nodded. She understood some things. Positive hashtag version 2M. After the banquet was set, Lu Yu poured some wine but didn't sit at the table. She knew the difference between the young and the old, which was also the upbringing of the Lu family. 7th Elder. Let Lu Yu sit down. This isn't appropriate. You don't have to treat us as guests, just treat us as family, Night Sorrow said. He couldn't say how the Yi clan behaved normally because this was the Lu clan. Lu Qi nodded to Lu Yu and asked her to sit down. Lu Yu, great ancestor has something to say today. You were able to meet his majesty because of good karma. You must cherish this good karma and do your best. Great ancestor thinks highly of you in the Lu family. Lu Yu stood up and bowed to Lu Qi and Night Sorrow. Lu Yu will remember this. I hope your majesty can give me some pointers in the future. Night Sorrow gestured for Lu Yu to sit down. You and Xiao Luo are friends. If Xiao Luo has any shortcomings, you should give him some advice. While chatting, Lu Yu asked Lu Qi if she could join the Heaven Wasteland Army. Lu Qi objected. He explained his point of view in front of Night Sorrow. He felt that serving the Celestial Realm's 100 races didn't necessarily mean that she had to join the Heaven Wasteland Army. Lu Yu was in the cultivation stage, and it was most important to improve her cultivation first. The Celestial Realm's forces needed young people to continue. Xiao Luo wants to join. Does your majesty agree? Lu Yu looked at Night Sorrow and asked. I think he's also in the cultivation stage. There's no point in rushing to join the Heaven Wasteland Army. If there's a war, he can fight at any time. If he's not part of the Heaven Wasteland Army, he can't fight? Of course. This is only my opinion. He can make his own decision, Night Sorrow said after thinking for a while. After hearing Lu Qi and Night Sorrow's words, Lu Yu gave up the idea of joining the Heaven Wasteland Army immediately. She was sure that Lu Qi and Night Sorrow both had a big picture view and their views couldn't be wrong. After staying in the Lu family's manor for a day, Night Sorrow left with Yang Lei and Aoi. 13. Is Xiao Luo's matter also mostly resolved? Yang Lei looked at Night Sorrow and asked. 9th senior sister. You're thinking too far ahead. They have a good relationship, but I can't say for sure. Let's just let nature take its course. Night Sorrow smiled. After Night Sorrow left, Lu Qi began to lecture Lu Yu. He hoped that Lu Yu wouldn't tell the others about Yi Xiaoluo's background. What happened in the past, what will happen in the future. However, he emphasized that the Yi family was sincere. They could be trusted and could be friends with them. After promising Lu Qi, Lu Yu took the weapon Night Sorrow gave her and left the Lu family's manor. What was she going to do? Naturally, she was going to show off to Yi Xiaoluo. After returning to the Tianhuang city, Night Sorrow began to cultivate. In less than 2 years, he would go to the ancient world. The world tree was a supreme treasure, and the 100 races of the celestial realm wanted it. In addition, if he could get the world tree, and if he and Mo Tianji contributed greatly,
He would tell the elders that he wanted to put his hopes in Xingyue City. He also had to consider the 9 domains world.
Knight Sorrow also planned to talk to Tran Hung and King Yawu about this. Of course, the premise was that he could get the world tree. While his doppelganger was cultivating, Knight Sorrow only cultivated the Heaven Attraction chant. As for the primordial destruction / Knight Sorrow still didn't feel anything. He also knew the reason.
It was because the level of the infinity attribute was low, and there was a gap between it and the other attributes.
In other words, the bottleneck of his infinity attribute was the bottleneck of the taboo attribute. It was also the bottleneck for the primordial destruction / to reach perfection. Knight Sorrow's primordial destruction / was already very powerful. Apart from the Heaven Attraction chant, which consumed a lot of soul power, it was his strongest combat skill. However, he pursued perfection and hadn't reached it yet. There was a fundamental difference between the primordial destruction / and the Heaven Attraction chant. The Heaven Attraction chant was slow to activate and consumed a lot of soul power. It was a big move that was ready to be used.
On the other hand, the primordial destruction / was a combat skill that could be used at any time and could be used continuously.
This was also the reason why Knight Sorrow had been pursuing perfection. A combat skill that could be used continuously was the support for a long battle. After 2 months, Mo Yuqing felt that things were stable. She wanted to move on to the next step, which was to send out spies to scout the realms next to the 100 races of the celestial realm. Since she couldn't take down the 9 domains world, then Mo Yuqing also wanted to develop. She planned to first find a domain to use as a base for development. This way, the Demon Wing clan would also have a foundation in the celestial realm. There was also a domain next to Heaven Wasteland domain, but there was only one. At present, the Demon Wing clan was developing, and the other was close to Heaven Wasteland domain. These 2 domains couldn't enter the celestial realm.
If they occupied the domain next to the celestial realm, then the Demon Wing clan would have no problem developing or waging war.
After sending out the spies, Mo Yuqing once again looked at the information in her hands, her eyes full of annoyance. It was all information about Knight Sorrow, which was collected some time ago. She also had the information that Knight Sorrow had entered the intermediate Emperor Tribulation level. This was the reason why she was so annoyed. She had worked very hard to cultivate, but the result was that she was 2 levels behind Knight Sorrow. The City Lord of Heaven Wasteland Domain, Tran Hung, had returned to Heaven Wasteland City. Some things had been investigated clearly. He couldn't get close to the World Tree, and had to proceed according to the original plan. After listening to Knight Sorrow's words, Tran Hung knew that there was only one person chosen by the Ice Phoenix race. He was also helpless. City Lord, Mo Tianji's intelligence is also not bad. If we don't have any objections, I can bring her along when the time comes, Knight Sorrow said. Chapter 22:12. Requests.
If we succeed in obtaining the World Tree, she hopes, or rather, she and I both hope that the World Tree can be placed in Star Moon City so that both the 9 domain world and the celestial realm can benefit, Knight Sorrow said.
That's reasonable. In addition, only those who can approach the World Tree and recognize it will have an effect. Other people's requests are useless. Among the 3 possible people, you and her are more likely than Wu Lingfei. Wu Lingfei is also from the 9 domain world. Besides, if the World Tree is placed in Star Moon City, it will still be in the celestial realm. It won't affect the future of the celestial realm. Tran Hung explained his attitude and the stakes. In other words, no matter who controls the World Tree, it would be useless even if others wanted to interfere. Tran Hung asked about Knight Sorrow's cultivation situation. He was not stingy with his guidance. He hoped that Knight Sorrow would rise as soon as possible. Knight Sorrow explained the current situation. The cultivation of the realm can only be done slowly. As for the bottleneck of the peerless attribute, it requires an opportunity or a flash of inspiration. Others can't help you. But you're good. In such a short time, you've cultivated the taboo attribute to the peak of the high level. One more step and you'll be a top-level taboo attribute. I'm looking forward to it. Tran Hung nodded to Knight Sorrow. Tran Hung also specialized in the taboo attribute. But after countless years, the destruction and peerless attributes were complete. The space attribute could not be raised, so the taboo attributes level was relatively low. After chatting with Knight Sorrow for a while, Tran Hung went to Yawa Mountain. He had some things to discuss with King Yawa. Night Sorrow knew that there was no point in going into seclusion. What he lacked was actual combat and opportunities. He felt that going to the ancient world might be an opportunity. 2 months later, after evading several pursuits of the members of the Fiend God Castle of the Celestial Realm, Dark Feather Qing led people into the Tianjiang domain, which was the domain once ruled by the Yuan-Ji family. Later, Ma Tian-tu of the Demon Wing clan had joined forces with Yuan-Ji, but was eradicated by the ethereal imperial court. This was recorded in the Demon Wing clan, so some of Mo Yuqing's plans went smoothly. He occupied the Sky General domain, destroyed the original transmission array, and built a new transmission array. Most J-Nu-B chapter Supra KW1 end of the new teleportation array was in an extremely hidden place in the celestial realm, and the other end was a teleportation array controlled by the Demon Wing clan in the Heavenfall domain. As soon as the teleportation portal was destroyed, the Ethereal Dynasty knew about it. However, the teleportation portal became a one-way portal. The Demon-Winged clan could enter and leave, but the people of the Celestial Realm could not. The situation was the same as the last time when Ma Tian-tu and Yuan-Ji joined forces. Unless they dug out the location of the Demon Wing clan's teleportation portal in the Celestial Realm, it was undoubtedly like looking for a needle in a haystack. It was extremely difficult. Night Sorrow, Lin Piaomiao, Yang Lei and Aoi arrived at the Ethereal Imperial Court. After listening to the report, Night Sorrow shook his head helplessly. It doesn't matter. Later I'll ask Tran Hung how to enter the foreign domain, or if Tran Hung has a way. Even if we can enter, it will be very troublesome. This time, the Demon Wing clan is very cautious, or even good at scheming. There are doppelgangers of our people who reported the situation. The teleportation portal was destroyed by the Demon Wing clan, but we only saw a member of the Demon Wing clan once. They are also developing in the dark in the Heavenfall domain. Even if we enter, we may not be able to catch them, Lin Piaomiao said. This is my fault. I didn't guard it well enough. Luo Yuandao stood up and apologized. He was responsible for most of the matters in the Heavenfall domain. This is not your fault. They have been scheming. They can find any loophole they want. Pay attention to the defense of other areas. Don't let them sneak attack you. In addition, investigate the other domains near our Ethereal Dynasty and give me a copy of the distribution map. Night Sorrow shook his head. He knew that no one was to blame for this. When the Demon Wing clan was sincere in scheming, some places could not be guarded. Luo Yuandao and Elder Naylan nodded. They were waiting to be scolded, but Night Sorrow and Lin Piaomiao did not say anything harsh. After giving some instructions, Night Sorrow and Lin Piaomiao left the City Lord's mansion. After sending Yang Lei and Aoi to the teleportation portal back to the Nine-Domain world, the two of them communicated as they teleported to Tianhuang City. Night Sorrow, this is really unavoidable. Not all domains can be as impregnable as the Nine-Domain world. Our cultivators are too weak compared to their elite team, Lin Piaomiao said. I understand. Now let's see how to solve this matter. Night Sorrow nodded. He knew how much effort he had put into the defense of the Nine-Domain world and Xingyue City. When they arrived at Tianhuang City, Night Sorrow went to Tran Hung's Nine Dragons Cauldron. When Night Sorrow arrived, Tran Hung appeared. The two of them entered a small space in the Nine Dragons Cauldron. Night Sorrow and Tran Hung had absolute trust in each other. Night Sorrow could control the Tianhuang Pagoda, and he had no qualms about letting others in because he trusted him. Night Sorrow told Tran Hung about the situation in the Tianjiang domain and asked Tran Hung if there was any way to solve it. Yes, some world origins will control the spatial barrier to exclude cultivators above the king level from entering, but it's not absolute. It's not difficult to break through the world's barrier when one's spirit and mind are integrated into heaven and earth. The difficult part is to find the location in the spatial turbulence. The Tianjiang domain and celestial realm use king-grade teleportation stones, so the distance shouldn't be too far. For this matter, let the Misty Empire's men in the Tianjiang domain investigate them. If there are any clues, spend some effort to deal with them. Mo Zhantian should know about this too. Tran Hung said. So that's the case. That means the world's barrier can't stop cultivators above the Divine Soul Unity realm from entering. The Nine-Domain world has to take note of this too. Night Sorrow was shocked. Don't worry, I'm talking about ownerless low-level spatial worlds. The Nine-Domain world has you as the Realm Lord,
but cultivators above the Divine Soul Unity Realm won't be able to enter.
Tran Heng reassured Night Sorrow. After hearing Tran Heng's words, Night Sorrow heaved a sigh of relief. If they couldn't prevent cultivators above the Divine Soul Unity Realm from entering, then the defense of Star Moon City and Nine Domain City would be ineffective. Also, you're now the virtuous Emperor. If you have the virtuous fire to protect you, the barrier of the spatial world should be ineffective against you. You can try it if you have the chance. Tran Heng said to Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow really didn't know about this. Now that he understood the main points, he felt that the Tianjiang domain wasn't a big problem. At the very least, the devil-winged race wouldn't be able to occupy it. Tran Heng told Night Sorrow that he would go to the Tianjiang domain later to set up a secret teleportation array. He would activate it whenever he needed it. After Mo Yuqing led the troops into the Tianjiang domain, she reported the situation to Mo Zhantian. Mo Zhantian rejected her action because it was untenable. There were at least 2 people in the celestial realm who could break through the world's barrier. Tran Heng and King Yawu could do it. Therefore, they still had to hide their tracks. This was also the main reason why the troops of the Ethereal Empire couldn't find them in the Tianjiang domain. Chapter 22:13. Thinking of the Nine Domains world, Dark Feather felt a strong sense of powerlessness.
Because the defense of the Nine Domains world was too tight, whether it was from the inside to the outside, or the control of the people coming in and out, it had reached the point where she could not do anything.
Without a plan for the next step, Dark Feather could only stand firm in the dark. In addition, he also made a plan to leave the Heavenly General Domain if there was any danger. Use the Heavenly General Domain as a cover to attract the attention of the people of the Heavenly Realm, and then go elsewhere to develop. After thinking about the problem, Night Sorrow and Lin Piaomiao's original body stayed in the Heaven Wasteland City, while the 2 clones returned to the Night Moon Villa of the Ethereal Imperial Court, because this was the fastest way to get the news. When the 2 returned, in the Night Moon Villa, the 2 brothers Yi Xiaoluo and Yi Xiaokei were drinking. Seeing that Night Sorrow and Lin Piaomiao had returned, the 2 hurriedly got up to greet them.
You 2 brothers are very comfortable. After Night Sorrow sat down, he waved his hand to let the 2 sit down, and then asked about Yi Xiao's cultivation.
Lord Father, you're wrong too. I'm already so old and I haven't seen you refine any weapons or armor for me. You've refined them for others and slapped me in the face. Yi Xiaoluo said.
Bastard boy, no one has said that your father is wrong in front of your father.
Lin Piaomiao reached out and knocked Yi Xiaoluo on the head. Ha ha. Father and your 2 concubines went to the Lu family villa as guests and saw Lu Yu. Since it's good karma, I gave her a gift. Men should be more tolerant. It's not a bad thing to be joked about and slapped in the face. Night Sorrow explained to his son with a smile. Xiaoluo knows. I just wanted to find a topic to chat with father and concubines. Yi Xiaoluo said with a smile. You child. Lin Piaomiao shook her head. Yi Xiaoluo was like this. It was also his character. Then Yi Xiaoluo said that he originally wanted to join the Heaven Wasteland Army, but after hearing Lu Yu's words, he dismissed the idea. Xiaokei, when you are free, go out with your 4th brother for a walk. Don't just stay in the Misty Dynasty.
You are the 4th brother and you are doing very well. Lin Piaomiao looked at her son and said.
No, I still have to wait. With my cultivation level, I'll be easily bullied if I go out. It's a small matter if I get bullied, but it's a big matter if I embarrass you and father, said Yi Xiaokei. If you don't tell us, who will know that you are our son? It's not us who will be embarrassed. If you're afraid of being embarrassed, then work harder. Lin Piaomiao glared at Yi Xiaokei. Yi Xiaokei wanted to say something, but he swallowed it back. Lin Piaomiao was very strict with him. Little Luo, it's good to have some precautions when making friends. But once you become friends, there's no need to deliberately hide it. If you have friends, you can bring them home. This isn't showing off. It's sincerity. Your mother, your aunts, and I all support you. Besides, father can tell at a glance what kind of person a friend is, Night Sorrow said. Little Luo understands. But if little Luo feels that it's necessary, then we'll talk about it. For now there's no need. Yi Xiaoluo naturally understood what Night Sorrow meant. He could help him check. Just as the family was chatting, Tran Heng came. We're chatting as a family. I'll set up a teleportation array here. Then, I'll set up another one at the Tianjiang domain. After the connection is completed, we'll activate it whenever we need it.
Thank you for your hard work, City Lord.
Knight Sorrow cupped his hands at Tran Hung. Then, he began to set up the teleportation array. Naturally, he couldn't let Tran Hung do it personally. After the teleportation array was set up, Tran Hung inserted a top-notch rank 8 teleportation crystal and left. She was going to proceed with the next step. Knight Sorrow and Lin Piaomiao stayed in the Night Moon Villa. Yi Xiaoluo brought his brother Yi Xiaoke out. He received a notice from the team that they were going on an adventure. Knight Sorrow wouldn't stop such a thing. Half a month later, Tran Hung came back through the teleportation array. It's set up in a large canyon. There's no problem with its safety. It can be activated at any time. I'll go back now. When the spiritual woman from the Ice Phoenix race comes out of seclusion, I'll inform you. We'll head to the ancient world. After sending off Tran Hung, Knight Sorrow prepared for the upcoming expedition to the ancient world. On this day, Knight Sorrow, who was meditating with his eyes closed, suddenly opened his eyes. His body flashed and stood outside the teleportation array. Lin Piaomiao also arrived because they saw Yi Xiaoke, whose robes were covered in blood. Father, mother, hurry up and save them. Save my fourth brother and the others. They're in danger now. Yi Xiaoke didn't care about his injuries and anxiously shouted to Knight Sorrow and Lin Piaomiao. Let's go. Knight Sorrow wrapped Lin Piaomiao and Yi Xiaoke with energy and entered the teleportation array. Yi Xiaoke led the way and teleported. He also told Knight Sorrow about the situation. Yi Xiaoluo received a notice from the team. Their group followed the other training teams into an alternate dimension. Not long after they entered, they were surrounded and attacked by the foreign races. The other teams all died. Because Jing Yu, Lang Li, Lu Yu, and Yi Xiaoluo's combat strength were relatively good, they didn't die on the spot. They tried their best to stop them and only then did Yi Xiaoke come back to report. +2 Go Fast +2 Inch Bullsh T alternate dimension. I don't know which foreign world this is. Lin Piaomiao cursed. Because there were almost no strong experts in the alternate dimension, it was impossible to injure Yi Xiaoluo and the others. It was definitely the power of the foreign world. Knight Sorrow increased the energy to activate the teleportation array's teleportation crystal. 2 hours later, they arrived at the entrance of the foreign world. He let Lin Piaomiao guard the entrance and take care of Yi Xiaoke. He entered the spatial tunnel and flew in the direction Yi Xiaoke said. At this moment, in a mountainous area of the foreign world, Yi Xiaoluo, Jing Yu, Lang Li, Lu Yu, and a cultivator called Kiki were surrounded and attacked. They were all seriously injured. Brothers and sisters, this time it's my fault. I brought everyone to a dangerous place. If there's a chance, retreat. Let's be brothers again in the next life. Jing Yu didn't care about his own safety as he fought with the foreign races who had scales on their faces. Haha. Jing Yu, there's no meaning in saying that. Since we're brothers, let's fight together. If we die in battle, we'll walk side by side on the road to hell. Yi Xiaoluo laughed loudly. There was a big hole in his chest that kept bleeding, but his aura wasn't weak at all. He didn't have any regrets because he had sent his younger brother away and could answer to his parents and aunt. Xiaoluo, you're heroic. If you can survive this time, I won't hurt you anymore. Lu Yu said. Yi Xiaoluo's most serious injury was paid for her. Xiaoluo, you have the greatest potential. If there's a chance, take Lu Yu with you. Lang Li also shouted. He and Yi Xiaoluo were sworn brothers and their relationship was the deepest. All of you will die. At this moment, a man in battle armor appeared. Chapter 22:14. Yi Xiaoluo knew that after his brother escaped, he would definitely inform his father and aunt to come. As long as one of them came, the crisis would be resolved. At this moment, Knight Sorrow's flying speed in the alternate dimension had increased to the maximum. It was almost like teleportation. He knew that if he could buy more time, Yi Xiaoluo would be in less danger. If he was slow, Yi Xiaoluo would die easily. Knight Sorrow also cursed. Yi Xiaoluo had not shattered his soul crystal yet. He could only search according to the general direction and deduced from the battlefield and traces. The distance was too far and they were in an alternate dimension. He could not shatter the soul crystal on Yi Xiaoluo's body.
After flying for a while, Night Sorrow sensed the aura of his soul crystal and immediately increased his speed. Jing Yu and the others were in a worse situation. The 5 of them were suppressed and retreated together. Yi Xiaoluo's chest was pierced and his left arm was twisted strangely. Half of Jing Yu's neck was broken and Langley was standing there with one leg.
What are you guys doing?
I didn't expect our Scarlet Sky Realm to be so close to the Supreme World. You guys are the first battle of our Scarlet Sky Realm. The man in armor appeared in front of all the foreign race warriors in a flash. Damn, I can't see his cultivation. I can't help dying in the hands of the Emperor.
Jing Yu said. He was helpless and had to accept his fate because the difference was too big.
You bully us because our cultivation is low.
My father or Aunt Lin can crush a piece of trash like you.
Yi Xiaoluo wiped his mouth and said, Brother, the Emperor is not easy to deal with. Langley said with a bitter smile. The Emperor was too strong in front of them. I believe Xiaoluo's words.
Lu Yu said. She knew Yi Xiaoluo's background.
Not only was Night Sorrow strong, Lin Piaomiao's strength was also known by everyone in the Celestial Realm.
Don't talk about my father and aunt.
Even a random uncle would be able to peel off his skin. Damn it, Ba!
Yi Xiaoluo spat out a mouthful of bloody saliva. Shameless boasting.
Die first. The man in armor waved his battle blade and charged towards Yi Xiaoluo. Wang! The world's energy vibrated as a blood-red spear tore through the sky, arriving before Yi Xiaoluo. The end of the spear trembled constantly, causing the space's energy to vibrate and resonate with it. The armored man hurriedly retreated. He didn't know what was going on. He didn't boast shamelessly.
You don't have the right to kill him. Night Sorrow arrived.
His white robes fluttered as he casually took a step forward and arrived in front of Yi Xiaoluo and the others. Sir! Seeing Night Sorrow's arrival, Jing Yu, Langley, and Kiki, who had seen Night Sorrow before, all nodded in greeting. Sorry, Xiaoluo has embarrassed you.
Yi Xiaoluo said in a low voice. What's so embarrassing about it?
Night Sorrow nodded at Yi Xiaoluo.
It doesn't matter if you lose. As long as you have the courage, it's fine. We, the children of the Yi clan, should know shame and be brave. Yi Xiaoluo bowed. His heart was very warm. His father had arrived at the crucial moment.
He didn't say any harsh words and only supported him.
Who are you?
The Scarlet Night Kingdom's soldier commander looked at Night Sorrow with vigilance. He couldn't see through Night Sorrow's strength.
Celestial Realm Night Sorrow. Let's not talk about your encirclement. You even bully the weak. Do you think our Celestial Realm doesn't have people?
Kill. Night Sorrow's right hand grabbed the blood-chilling evil punishing spear. His body created an afterimage as he directly struck the Scarlet Night Kingdom's leader's head. Soon after, the Scarlet Night Kingdom's leader's body disappeared in front of everyone's eyes. Beginning Great Annihilation Slash. This was the first time Night Sorrow used Beginning Great Annihilation Slash in battle. Under the suppression of the Forbidden Dao domain, the Scarlet Night Kingdom's high-class emperor couldn't fight back. Spear light danced and afterimages crisscrossed. In just a moment, the foreign race soldiers surrounding Yi Xiaoluo were all killed. You guys go back first and recover your wounds before fighting. There will be people waiting for you at the spatial tunnel. Night Sorrow's body flashed and left after speaking. He had to investigate the Scarlet Night Kingdom situation and see if it was the same as the last apocalypse. Also, Night Sorrow was worried that the Scarlet Night Kingdom was an ancient world because there were traces of endless vicissitudes in its aura. Seeing Night Sorrow leave, Yi Xiaoluo and the others flew towards the spatial tunnel. Although they were heavily injured, it didn't affect their flight. You initial F hair. The Celestial Realm only has one Night Sorrow.
That is Sir Human Emperor?
Yi Xiaoluo. Langley looked at Yi Xiaoluo. That's my father. I didn't intentionally hide it from you guys. When I said I knew the Human Emperor and often saw him, you guys didn't believe me. If I said more, it would just be showing off.
Yi Xiaoluo explained. We can understand this. The relationship between us has nothing to do with family background.
However, it's true that your family background is terrifying, Jing Yu said with a smile.
Jing Yu said with a smile.
Currently, the most powerful person in the Heaven Realm was none other than Yi Shang. In addition, Night Sorrow didn't just have a high reputation, his strength was also recognized. The group of people exited the spatial tunnel and saw Lin Piaomiao and Yi Xiaoke. Xiao Luo greets aunt. Yi Xiao Luo bowed to Lin Piaomiao. The others bowed as well. They all knew about the Grand Elder of the Council of Elders. Your injuries are very serious. Xiao Luo, bring your little brother and your friends to Yeyue Mountain Villa to treat their injuries first. Aunt still has things to do. Take this healing medicine and distribute it to everyone. Lin Piaomiao took out the healing medicine and handed it to Yi Xiao Luo. Aunt is so considerate. Father didn't even give me any healing medicine. Although Yi Xiao Luo was heavily injured, he didn't stop talking. Look at you now. You still dare to talk about your father. If your father died a little later, would you still be alive? Lin Piaomiao glared at Yi Xiao Luo. Yi Xiao Luo brought Yi Xiaoke and a few friends back to Night Moon Manor to recover. After their injuries were more or less under control, the group of people met in the main hall of the Night Moon Manor. Little Six, fourth brother let you down this time. Yi Xiao Luo looked at Yi Xiaoke and said, Fourth brother, you're not reliable. You always boast that you're the second emperor of the Yi clan. You said that I would live a good life if I went out with you. In the end, I almost got killed and lost half my life. Yi Xiaoke looked at Yi Xiao Luo and said, Accident, it was completely an accident. This is the first time something like this happened. You happened to see it. Don't tell eldest sister and third sister. They will scold me to death. Yi Xiao Luo was embarrassed by Yi Xiaoke's words. You also have people you're afraid of? Lu Yu said with a smile. My eldest sister and third sister are much scarier than my father, mother, and aunt. Xiao Luo, are you? Yi Xiao Luo looked at Yi Xiaoke and asked. This is the truth. Fourth brother, brothers and sisters, Xiaoke is here to thank everyone for risking their lives to protect me. Xiaoke ran away first not because he was afraid of death, but because he felt that it was useless to stay. He might as well hurry back and call for help. Xiaoke will remember this kindness. Yi Xiaoke stood up and bowed to Yi Xiao Luo, Jingyu, and the others. Chapter 22:15. Xiao Luo, what do you think now? Lu Yu looked at Yi Xiao Luo and asked. What else can I think about? We're going out to train. We can deal with small fish and shrimps, but we can't eat big crabs. We should improve our cultivation first. Brother Jingyu, don't join the Heaven Wasteland Army. It's more important to improve your strength first, Yi Xiao Luo said. I'll listen to you and Lu Yu this time. If you don't want to join, then I won't. I'm not strong enough, Jingyu lamented. Lang Li, what are you thinking about? Do you still want to go to the Heaven Wasteland City and join the Heaven Wasteland Army? Lu Yu looked at Lang Li and asked. No, after I saw the human emperor's spear skills, I felt that my spear skills were like a child's waving a stick around, Lang Li lamented. There's no comparison. It's the truth. We're much older than His Majesty, but our experience and strength can't compare. His Majesty has been through hundreds of battles, and his strength is the result of killing. The things we've experienced are like playing house in front of him, Lu Yu said. After experiencing this, the 6 people present were deeply moved. Because they had almost been completely wiped out, they stayed in the Night Moon Mountain Villa to heal their wounds and think about their next path. Night Sorrow flew in the Scarlet Night Realm to investigate. He caught a cultivator from the Scarlet Night Realm and used the Soul Illusion Realm to influence his soul. He found some information. Just as he estimated, this alternate space was an ancient world with a history of thousands of reincarnations. Normally, after 1,000 reincarnations, a supreme world would fall to a sub-supreme world. After another 1,000 reincarnations, it would shatter. After shattering, it would form some small worlds. These small worlds didn't have much spiritual energy and weren't suitable for cultivation. However, these small worlds would be close to other realms and worlds. By plundering, the cultivators of this kind of small world could also rise up. This kind of small world had existed for a long time, and it did not have the crisis of a great calamity like other worlds. Over time, it became the ancient world that the people of the Heaven Realm spoke of. After probing the Spirit Sea memories of a few cultivators, Night Sorrow understood quite a bit about the Scarlet Night Realm. The Scarlet Night Realm was very strong. The first commander of the Scarlet Night Realm was a Divine Soul Unity Realm cultivator of the Tribulation of the 9 Emperors, while the second commander was a Tribulation of the 8 Emperors. This was Night Sorrow's evaluation of the Scarlet Night world. After discovering this information, Night Sorrow informed Tran Hung, and his doppelganger continued to investigate. Tran Hung called King Yawu and the Grand Elder back. Then, they held a meeting of the Council of Elders. There are tribulation of the 9 emperors in the Crimson Night realm. Other than the City Lord and King Yawu, the rest of the people in the Celestial realm can't handle it. Long Yixing said. The news about Night Sorrow had brought a lot of pressure to everyone. The opponent is very strong. If it weren't for the Demon-Winged clan, we wouldn't be afraid of anything. Now, no matter who we fight, the Demon-Winged clan will bite us if our strength is damaged, Tran Hung said. Is there any possibility of negotiation? The Grand Elder looked at Tran Hung and King Yawu and asked. It's almost impossible. The situation in the ancient world isn't very good. They have a long history, but the lack of resources is a drawback. When they discover new realms and new worlds, they will definitely take action. They will ruthlessly plunder and kill any life they see. The crystal cores of cultivators are all resources that they want, Tran Hung said. He knew a little about the ancient world and knew how it worked. That's really a big problem. The Golden Dragon King shook his head. What should we do? The problem is, what should we do now? How should we deal with it? Lin Yuanjun, the leader of the White Tiger clan, asked. Negotiation is very difficult. The opponent won't let go of the opportunity to plunder resources, but I will still try. At the very least, I have to let them know our attitude. Peaceful coexistence is the best. If we can't just fight, they have the mentality to fight for resources. We also have the determination to fight to the end in the Celestial realm, Tran Hung said. First C%. All right, the City Lord will go negotiate. We will prepare for war. When I come back, who will guard the Sea of Reincarnation? The Grand Elder looked at the leaders of the mythological beast clan and asked. In the Celestial realm, other than the 3 leaders Lu Qi and the other leaders of the mythological beast clans were the strongest. Now that Lu Qi wasn't here, the Grand Elder hoped that someone would stand up. Then I will go. Long Yixing, one of the Azure Dragons, said. This is my communication crystal. If there is a battle, notify me immediately. King Yawu gave his communication crystal to Long Yixing. Lord, it's been too long since Yawu City teleported here. Long Yixing said. King Yawu shook his head and then told his plan. He planned to guard Tianhuang City and let Shiryu watch over Yawu City. If that's the case, I will guard the entrance. The Grand Elder said. After the arrangements were made, everyone started to move. In the 9 Realms world, Night Sorrow's 9 Realms body told Mo Tianji about the appearance of the Crimson Sky realm. There will be many twists and turns in the last era of the Sovereign World. It's all a catastrophe. One mistake and the world will be turned upside down. However, the 100 clans of the Celestial Realm are quite strong now. There shouldn't be too much risk. Mo Tianji said. There's nothing we can do about it. The opponent is very strong. We don't dare to consume too much during this period. Also, we have to hurry up with the World Tree. Night Sorrow was a little conflicted now. Everything had come together. Let's see the result of the negotiation first. If they really want to fight, I can go with you and wipe out their top forces first. Mo Tianji said. Let's see how it goes. Night Sorrow said. While Night Sorrow's body was investigating the situation, he also obtained a map from the Crimson Sky Realm's cultivators. The Crimson Sky Realm was quite strong, but it wasn't too big. It was just a medium-sized world. When Night Sorrow returned to the entrance of the space passage, he saw Tran Hung, the Golden Dragon King, and Lu Qi were all there. Night Sorrow, watch this place. I'll go in and take a look. Tran Hung said. Night Sorrow took out the map, then engraved a copy and handed it to Tran Hung. Everyone, get ready for battle. If there's really going to be a battle, inform King Yawu to come here. We'll end it quickly and kill their 2 high-level Tribulation Emperor cultivators. The rest can be cleaned up later. Tran Hung left after saying that. Sister Xian Er, help me send someone to inform the First Army and the God-slaying team to come here. Night Sorrow was ready for battle. Lin Piaomiao sent Lin Qixing to do this. She knew that Night Sorrow was preparing for battle. Is the 9 Realms world stable? The Grand Elder asked. Chapter 22:16. Night Sorrow took out spirit stones and began to set up the formation. No matter how the negotiations went, whether they would fight or not, the defensive formation had to be set up. Night Sorrow had this awareness. Seeing Night Sorrow set up the formation, King Yawu nodded. Night Sorrow was already very thoughtful. At this time, in front of the Scarlet Sky Realm Scarlet Sky City, Tran Hung and the higher-ups of the Scarlet Sky Realm were confronting each other. You are the representative of the Celestial Realm. I am the Realm Lord of the Scarlet Sky Realm, Yu Qing. I will tell you clearly that the Scarlet Sky Realm will not compromise with any forces. If there is a war we will fight, Yu Qing said. Yu Qing looked like a young man, but his actual age was 9 eras. He did not have much lifespan left. If he wanted to obtain opportunities, he naturally had to fight. His position as Realm Lord was different from that of Night Sorrow. He obtained it with power and strength. He used his strength to suppress other cultivators and obtain the right to rule. If you think the Scarlet Sky Realm can do it, then let's fight. This is your fate. Tran Hung snorted coldly. Then, his body became blurry and he left. Realm Lord, why didn't you stop him? A middle-aged man asked. He is a Divine Soul Unity Realm cultivator and is not in our attack range. If he wants to leave, it will be difficult for us to stop him. Yu Qing shook his head. Tran Hung was not in his attack range. It would be useless even if he attacked. The middle-aged man nodded. He was the Vice Realm Lord of the Scarlet Sky Realm, Tang Bing. He was second only to Yu Qing in the Scarlet Sky Realm. He also needed resources to improve himself. The Battle of the Scarlet Sky Realm was in everyone's interest. Tran Hung left. This time, he did not plan to attack. He was here to negotiate. The next time they met, he would kill him openly. It was very troublesome to set up a formation. The First Army of the Heaven Wasteland Army and the God-Slaying Team were all here. Night Sorrow's formation was still being set up. Tran Hung returned, but Night Sorrow's formation was not finished. The group of people followed Night Sorrow and accompanied Night Sorrow to set up the formation. At the same time, they studied the next battle tactics. City Lord, how about we deal with them directly? Tell King Yawu to come over and kill their higher-ups. As for the people below, we can slowly eliminate them. This way, the City Lord and King Yawu won't be delayed when they return to Tianhuang City. This way, the Demon Wing clan won't dare to act recklessly, the Golden Dragon King said. The plan is feasible. As of now, this news has yet to be exposed. The Demon Wings race doesn't know about it yet. Before the Demon Wings race finds out and reacts, we have to settle the overall situation. Chen Huang said. After nearly half a month, Night Sorrow finished setting up the array formation. He used Monarch Spirit Stones in the key positions. After setting up the array formation, he handed it over to the Great Elder and Lu Qi. Night Sorrow, you can't be here now. We will take care of things here. You still have an important mission. Take that person, Imperial Concubine of the Ice Phoenix race, and the God-Slaying Team to that place. The success or failure of that place has far-reaching significance. I am worried that the appearance of the Scarlet Night world will cause other ancient worlds to surface. Tran Hung looked at Night Sorrow, who had finished setting up the formation. Okay. But what about the specific location? Night Sorrow looked at Tran Hung. Tran Hung handed Night Sorrow a map. I can only rely on you. One more thing. The person you want to approach the World Tree must be the original body. Also, I feel that this is an opportunity for you to break through and improve. You can do whatever you want. Night Sorrow was shocked. Tran Hung was the City Lord of Heaven Wasteland City. She would not speak without thinking. After putting away the map, Night Sorrow nodded at Lin Piaomiao. Be careful. Equals most TT new chapter G section W above, you too. Think more about everything. Don't take risks. Lin Piaomiao reminded Night Sorrow. She was also worried. Night Sorrow brought the God-Slaying Team to Night Moon Villa. His original body had also rushed over from Heaven Wasteland City. Mo Tianji, who had received Night Sorrow's 9 Realms Doppelganger's message, had also arrived. Mo Tianji's face was covered with a white veil. Take a rest. We will set off when Imperial Concubine arrives. Night Sorrow invited Mo Tianji to Night Moon Villa's waterside pavilion for tea and rest. He began to study the map of the ancient world where the world tree was. This ancient world was named World Tree by Tran Hung. It was a desolate world. Although there was no world origin, there was plenty of world origin energy because of the world tree. Tran Hung had studied the world tree for a period of time but couldn't find a way to approach it. In addition, when Tran Hung first discovered the world tree, it was still very quiet. There were no cultivators. But later on, there were sporadic cultivators. This was also the reason why Tran Hung hurriedly told Knight Sorrow to give up the war with Scarlet Knight Realm and rush to the world tree. He was afraid that there would be problems. The world tree could protect the celestial realm. Even after a supreme realm, it wouldn't be destroyed. This had a profound meaning. While Knight Sorrow was studying the map, Wu Lingfei arrived at Night Moon Villa. Wu Lingfei hadn't been in the celestial realm these years. She had been staying in the ancestral land of the Ice Phoenix race. Using the accumulation of the Ice Phoenix race's immortal shell and time acceleration, she had rapidly increased her cultivation. She was already at the Heavenly Tao 7 Emperor Tribulation. Imperial Concubine. Seeing Wu Lingfei, Knight Sorrow smiled from the bottom of his heart. Wu Lingfei was his closest relative before he found his family. She still was. Knight Sorrow, I'm here. Wu Lingfei sat down next to Knight Sorrow. Let me introduce you. This is the person I respect the most, and she's also my relative, Wu Lingfei. She's the imperial concubine of the Ice Phoenix race. I call her Aunt Fei. Aunt Fei, this is my good friend, the heavenly concubine of the 9 regions world. Yi Shang introduced Wu Lingfei and Mo Tianji. Hello, I am Wu Lingfei. Wu Lingfei nodded at Mo Tianji. The appearance is born from the heart. The kindness in the eyes can penetrate the bottom of one's heart. Knight Sorrow's imperial concubine is indeed not simple. I am heavenly concubine. Mo Tianji held the sword in her left hand and cupped her right hand. You are too polite. Knight Sorrow doesn't have many friends and even fewer good friends. It can be seen that he recognizes you very much. Wu Lingfei smiled. Don't be so polite. Imperial Concubine is from the 9 realms world and so is Heavenly Concubine. We are all on the same side. This time, we will fight side by side in the world of trees. Knight Sorrow said after pouring tea for the two. Then Knight Sorrow told Wu Lingfei about the world tree and its importance. So important? Then if we get it, will we give it to the celestial realm? Or the 9 realms world? Wu Lingfei directly said her thoughts. Are all people from the 9 realms world like this? Mo Tianji smiled. We will talk about it after we get it. We have to hurry and get it done before the world of trees is discovered. Knight Sorrow said. Chapter 22:17. The location of the realm of trees was something that Knight Sorrow did not expect. It was near the evil Punisher grounds in the Misty Dynasty, which was where the ghost ancestor's soul once resided and where Xiao Gu was born. Knight Sorrow led the group to the entrance of the realm of trees. There was a ceiling formation at the entrance, which was set up by Tran Hung. Tran Hung did not tell Knight Sorrow about the ceiling formation. He knew that it was difficult for others, but not for Knight Sorrow. It's here. I've been here before, Knight Sorrow said as he began to break the ceiling formation. After a while, the ceiling formation stopped working. Knight Sorrow let everyone in and started the ceiling formation again. He did not want other foreign races to enter the celestial realm. The celestial realm was already troublesome enough. If more trouble came, they would be in a terrible fix. The vicissitudes of time are very strong. Even the aura of the Heaven Wasteland domain cannot compare, Mo Tianji said after entering the realm of trees. Although the vicissitudes of time are very strong, the spiritual qi here is very strong, and there is a different kind of vitality, Wu Lingfei added. Knight Sorrow nodded. This is the ancient aura of the world tree. Tianyu, Yi Mei, you two will be the scouts. Tianyu and Yi Mei cupped their hands at Knight Sorrow and set off. Both of them were good at speed and were the best candidates for scouts. Knight Sorrow's original body commanded the group, and his doppelganger could also be the scout. However, as the leader, it was not suitable for him to go. It would make the god-slaying team look weak, which would be a blow to their morale. After advancing for half a day, Mo Tianji felt that something was wrong. This aura is not right. There is a bloody aura. It's different from when we first entered. It seems that I'm not the only one who feels this way, Wu Lingfei said.
Yes, I feel it too.
Something might have changed. Let's move quickly. There is still half a day's journey. Knight Sorrow rubbed his nose. After advancing for another hour, Tianyu returned. Leader, there are traces of foreign races ahead. Tianyu reported. In private, Tianyu called Knight Sorrow 13th brother. But when the group went out to battle, he called him leader. At this time, Yi Mei, who was scouting in another direction, also returned. Too terrifying. Luckily, my illusion technique was effective and I wasn't discovered. There's an army of foreign races in front of us. They are too terrifying. Yi Mei's face was slightly pale. With Yi Mei's explanation, everyone knew what was going on. Yi Mei had found out that the alien races were very ugly. They all had big mouths that reached their ears, three-edged tails with scales, and spikes on their backs. This is the demon scorpion race recorded in the history books. They are incomparably brutal, and their innate talent is devouring. We absorb the energy of heaven and earth for our own use, but they rely on devouring. They eat ores, spirit stones, other cultivators, and absorb the energy from their food to cultivate. Therefore, brutality is in their nature. If you are defeated or killed by them, not even your bones will remain. Mo Tianji was very knowledgeable. She was able to confirm the other party's identity through Yi Mei and Tianyu's description. That means this is going to be a battle to the death. Team, stay here. Knight Sorrow ordered the group. Tightening the samsara halberd on his back, Knight Sorrow nodded to Mo Tianji and Wu Lingfei.
I'll go take a look.
The group is in a safe zone. I'll go with you, Mo Tianji said. Yes, it's more suitable for Tianji to go with you. Wu Lingfei nodded. Okay. Long Jin, Lin Chuan, take care of your brothers. Knight Sorrow said to Long Jin and Lin Chuan. Then, he left with Mo Tianji. On the way, Mo Tianji told Yi Shang about the strengths and weaknesses of the demon scorpion race. The demon scorpion race had a powerful body, but their weakness was that their soul power was slightly weaker. The so-called slightly weaker referred to the fact that they were not good at soul attacks. However, there was a mark on their skulls that could block soul attacks. It looks like we're too slow. The ancient world's cultivators have found the world of trees. The secret of the world tree can't be hidden anymore. We have to hurry. Otherwise, it'll get harder and harder, Knight Sorrow said. Mo Tianji nodded. She knew about Knight Sorrow's leadership skills. She was impressed. She hadn't been in the Nine Zones world for long, but she'd heard a lot about Knight Sorrow when she was drinking tea in the tea house and strolling on the streets. After a while, Knight Sorrow and Mo Tianji found the demon scorpion race. Their soul power was strong. They avoided the demon scorpion race and checked the situation. The other two also saw the world tree from afar. However, they couldn't see it clearly. The world tree was too big. Because they had to hide from the demon scorpion race, Knight Sorrow and Mo Tianji were far away. They could only see the tree crown. They couldn't see the trunk. Not good. Let's go. Mo Tianji pulled Knight Sorrow and started to fly. Knight Sorrow didn't understand, but he knew Mo Tianji had her reasons. He didn't resist and let Mo Tianji pull him along. I sensed something. It's a cultivator from the tribulation of the 9 emperors. There's also a weaker one. They're chasing us. Mo Tianji's expression was serious. Can we kill them? Knight Sorrow asked. Translator. Endless Fantasy Translation Editor. Endless Fantasy Translation. How? There are 2 of them. One is a 9 Emperor Tribulation cultivator. It's not a problem to deal with me. The other one's aura is much stronger than yours. He should be a 7 Emperor Tribulation cultivator. How do you think we should kill them? Mo Tianji said. We can kill them. Why can't we? Knight Sorrow thought for a while and came up with an idea. How do you think we should kill them? If I think we can, we'll fight. If not, we'll have to run first. Mo Tianji said. She didn't want to take Knight Sorrow with her. She wasn't worried about herself. She was worried about Knight Sorrow. When we meet later, we'll work together and kill the 7 Emperor Tribulation cultivator. Then you can deal with the strongest one. I'll watch the show. I guess I'll heal myself. Knight Sorrow said. This is a race against time. Let's see if the 9 Emperor Tribulation Cultivator kills you first or if I kill the 7 Emperor Tribulation Cultivator first. It's a challenge for me, but it's even more stressful for you. If you're not careful, you'll die. Mo Tianji looked at Night Sorrow and said, if we have to fight, we'll fight. If we have the chance, we'll kill them. The main thing is that we have to race against time. If we can kill their leader, we'll be able to change the situation and gain the upper hand, Yishan said. All right. If you want to go crazy, I'll go crazy with you. Let's see if we can do it. Mo Tianji's fighting spirit was ignited by Night Sorrow's attitude. Haha, we can definitely do it. If we run a little further, we'll hide and get ready. If they come, we'll kill them. Night Sorrow said. After running for a while, Night Sorrow cast a spatial crack in front of them. Without needing Night Sorrow to say anything, Mo Tianji brought Night Sorrow into the spatial turbulence. The two of them were going to set up an ambush. Chapter 22:18. When Night Sorrow tore open the spatial rift, Mo Tianji understood what Night Sorrow meant. He wanted her to hide in the turbulent flow of space and ambush her there. This was the best way to hide and ambush her. E*J*Ty, all this time, you've always defeated those stronger than you. Not only are you strong, but you're also smart. Mo Tianji said. She understood that the losses she suffered at the hands of Night Sorrow in the past were not for nothing. Night Sorrow's fighting style was too wild. He dared to do what he thought. The chief of the demon scorpion race, Xiaofan, and the great elder, Xieli, sensed Mo Tianji's aura and chased after her. However, after a while, the aura disappeared. They followed the aura to where Yi Shang and Mo Tianji entered the spatial turbulence. That's enough, kill. Night Sorrow roared as his doppelganger emerged from his body. Then, he used space crack and 2 soul-extinguishing slashes. While Night Sorrow was making his move, Mo Tianji's body flashed out of the spatial rift. Then, her precept domain pressed down on Wuxia. The plan was to kill Wuxia first. Night Sorrow's soul-extinguishing slash was also aimed at Wuxia. When Mo Tianji moved, Night Sorrow's original body and avatar cast their precept domains within Mo Tianji's precept domain. Then they used different combat skills. His original body's primordial obliteration slash and his avatar's reincarnation true dragon art attacked Xieli at the same time. Damn it! Xieli growled. His Dao domain had been suppressed greatly. At the same time, an illusion appeared in his divine sea. Although he knew that it was an illusion, he immediately fell into it after struggling out of it. Night Sorrow's soul-extinguishing slash could not break through his spirit sea, but the illusions and illusions continued to attack his spirit sea. Mo Tianji's sword chi pierced through Wuxia's chest. Night Sorrow's Samsara halberd was not as fast as Mo Tianji, so it was blocked by the saber in Wuxia's right hand. However, Night Sorrow's Samsara halberd's destruction attribute and primordial destruction cut destroyed part of Wuxia's weapon and broke the tendons in his right arm. Don't worry about anything else. Keep killing. Night Sorrow shouted when he saw that Mo Tianji, who had killed Scorpion Li, was going to fight Scorpion Kuang. At the same time, his avatar flashed and used the space-time realm. Then, he used the true reincarnation dragon art to attack Scorpion Kuang. Mo Tianji's eyes were filled with shock because Night Sorrow was using himself to buy time for Mo Tianji to kill Xieli. Anyone who stands in my way will die. Seeing that Scorpion Li had been injured, Scorpion Kuang became anxious and charged toward Night Sorrow. At this time, Night Sorrow's body flashed again and used the space-time realm again. When Scorpion Kuang's saber light swept past, he appeared again. The true reincarnation dragon art changed into the primordial destruction cut and stabbed towards Scorpion Kuang's chest. Night Sorrow's most powerful combat skill was the primordial destruction cut that had not been perfectly integrated. If the primordial destruction cut had been perfectly integrated, Night Sorrow would have studied the real true reincarnation dragon art. Now, the true reincarnation dragon art was just a combat skill supported by reincarnation energy. In terms of profound, it was different from the primordial destruction cut. Scorpion Kuang's expression changed. He could feel that the primordial destruction cut could threaten him. Immediately, he changed his saber technique into a horizontal slash to block Night Sorrow's attack. Seeing Scorpion Kuang's horizontal slash, Night Sorrow's blood Kirin evil slaying spear trembled. Energy burst out and blasted towards Scorpion Kuang. Normally, Night Sorrow would not fight Scorpion Kwang head-on at this time. He would definitely be at a disadvantage. However, in order to buy time for Mo Tianji and his original body, he had to fight even if he was injured. At this time, Scorpion Lee's doppelganger had appeared. Night Sorrow's original body was carrying Scorpion Lee's doppelganger while Mo Tianji was attacking Scorpion Lee's original body, which had been severely injured by the two of them. Scorpion Lee's original body could not hold on any longer. He had been severely injured the moment Night Sorrow and Mo Tianji appeared. Scorpion Lee's doppelganger did not want to fight Night Sorrow's original body. He wanted to take on Night Sorrow's doppelganger and let Scorpion Kwang support his original body. Although he was a tribulation of 7 emperors and his life level had evolved and his soul was stable. Who was Mo Tianji? She was a tribulation of 9 emperors and had a taboo attribute. Scorpion Lee's body had been damaged and half of his soul had been destroyed. He would die if he continued fighting. Since Scorpion Lee's doppelganger was unwilling to fight Night Sorrow's original body, Night Sorrow's original body was under less pressure. While restraining Scorpion Lee's doppelganger, he threw out the human emperor's seal and activated the fire of merit to envelop Scorpion Lee's original body. He did not give Scorpion Lee's soul a chance to escape. At the same time, he controlled the soul extinguishing slash to constantly affect the soul of Scorpion Lee's original body. The battle was intense. Both sides were racing against time because every moment could change the outcome of the battle. Mo Tianji did not hold back at all. She suppressed Scorpion Lee with her precept domain and attacked him crazily. Night Sorrow's doppelganger was not optimistic either. However, he was in a better situation than Scorpion Lee. Scorpion Lee's precept domain was suppressed, so were his movements and attacks. On the other hand, Scorpion Kwang's precept domain could not suppress Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow could still resist Scorpion Kwang's attacks with his precept domain. However, he would be injured every time he blocked an attack. Hold on. You need a little more time. A little more time. Mo Tianji cheered Night Sorrow on in her heart. She kept waving the long sword in her hand. Streaks of sword chi entered Scorpion Lee's body and destroyed it continuously. Explode! Scorpion Lee roared when he felt that his body could not hold on any longer. His original body was about to self-destruct. He wanted to give his soul a chance to survive. Kill! Night Sorrow's original body's soul extinguishing slash did not attack Scorpion Lee's doppelganger. Instead, he and his doppelganger's soul extinguishing slash went for Scorpion Lee's original body. At the same time, Mo Tianji's soul attack bombarded Scorpion Lee's original body's divine C. The demon Scorpion race's skull was sturdy, but the soul attack's influence was still there. The soul attack hit his soul without any gap, stopping his self-destruction and his body's movements. Mo Tianji seized the opportunity and slashed out with her right hand, splitting Xia Li's head from the middle. When Scorpion Lee's extremely weak soul floated out of the divine sea, Night Sorrow's fire of merit pounced on it and enveloped it. Slash again! Mo Tianji stabbed her sword into the fire of merit and shook violently. Annihilated! Scorpion Lee's original body's soul was burned by the fire of merit. Coupled with Mo Tianji's sword, it was completely annihilated. Scorpion Lee's doppelganger spat out a mouthful of blood. The death of his original body hurt him greatly. At the same time, Mo Tianji attacked Scorpion Lee's doppelganger. Night Sorrow's original body used the space-time realm and rushed toward the doppelganger and Scorpion Kwang's battlefield. His doppelganger had already been hit. The doppelganger's right hand that was holding the spear had been injured twice. The doppelganger's energy circulation had become sluggish. If his original body did not help, his doppelganger would be killed passively. He was not as strong as Scorpion Lee. After all, Scorpion Lee's level was higher than his. Night Sorrow's original body used the space-time realm. When he reappeared, he was right in front of his doppelganger and used the primordial shattering slash. Scorpion King slash. Scorpion Kwang was furious. He could not accept the fact that Scorpion Lee's original body had been slashed in front of him. With an explosion, Night Sorrow's original body was sent flying backward. At the same time, Night Sorrow's doppelganger held the Blood Kirin evil-slaying spear in his left hand and pounced again. You must die! Scorpion Kwang slashed with his saber again. Chapter 22:19. Come on! Night Sorrow's true body took a deep breath, suppressing his surging chi and blood, and charged toward Scorpion Kwang again. The battle turned into a 2-on-1 battle. Night Sorrow's Human Emperor's seal enveloped Scorpion Kwang's doppelganger, while Emo Tianji's Fire of Merit enveloped Scorpion Kwang's doppelganger in her precept domain. Scorpion Kwang's doppelganger became a target and was constantly injured by Emo Tianji. His injuries accumulated rapidly. Night Sorrow's true body and doppelganger unleashed their strongest state and kept charging toward Scorpion Kwang. Every time he attacked, he would use the space-time realm to dodge Scorpion Kwang's blade aura. Then, he would fight Scorpion Kwang head-on, preventing him from supporting Scorpion Kwang. Night Sorrow was also in a miserable state. Both his true body and doppelganger were injured. The corners of his mouth and his robes were covered in blood. Of course, these injuries were not caused by Scorpion Kwang's attacks. Most of them were caused by the impact of energy. Night Sorrow had used the human Tao ceremonies Tao Te Ching to enhance his merit Taoist body. Otherwise, his body would have been shattered by Scorpion Kwang's attacks. Scorpion Kwang was very annoyed. He kept slashing at Night Sorrow with his blade and kept approaching the battle between Emo Tianji and Scorpion Kwang. Emo Tianji was no fool. She suppressed Scorpion Kwang and kept retreating. Sometimes, she even sent Scorpion Kwang flying, not giving him a chance to get close. When Night Sorrow was sent flying again and his true body and doppelganger were no longer able to fight, Emo Tianji also finished her last attack and killed Scorpion Kwang, who was controlled by the Fire of Merit. She took Scorpion Kwang's spoils and charged toward him. She knew that Night Sorrow's situation was not good. His internal organs were severely injured, and all 4 arms of his true body and doppelganger were broken. Night Sorrow was risking his life to buy time for her to kill Scorpion Kwang. "Be careful, heavenly concubine," Night Sorrow shouted. The Haotian pagoda appeared and flew toward Emo Tianji. His true body and doppelganger also flashed into it. "Trying to run?" Xie Kwang reached out with his left hand to capture the Haotian pagoda. However, the Haotian pagoda was flying toward Emo Tianji. As soon as he controlled the pagoda to fly, Emo Tianji arrived. She grabbed the Haotian pagoda with her left hand and put it in her clothes. Then, she started to fight with Xie Kwang. Inside the clear heaven pagoda, Yi Shang's true body and clone separated. Yi Shang's true body entered the highest level of time acceleration to speed up his recovery. His clone controlled the Human Emperor's seal to float above Xie Kwang's head with the Human Emperor's seal, suppressing him. Emo Tianji waved her long sword, not giving Xie Kwang a chance to break the Human Emperor's seal. Scorpion Kwang was filled with anger and hatred. He was suppressed by the human sovereign's seal and his strength had decreased. Emo Tianji was stronger than him and did not give him the chance to break the human sovereign's seal. As the battle continued, Night Sorrow watched intently. It was a blessing for any cultivator to be able to witness a battle at the level of the tribulation of the 9 emperors. Many of the battles were the quintessence that cultivators yearned for even in their dreams. Of course, whether or not they could understand the battle was another matter. Cultivators at the King Realm could not see it clearly. Cultivators at the Imperial Realm could not understand it either. Night Sorrow was naturally not a problem. He could fight with cultivators at the level of the tribulation of the 9 emperors. Naturally, nothing could be hidden from him. "Aren't you going to heal your injuries?" A battle like this cannot be decided in a short time. Only when the damage accumulates to a certain extent can it affect the battle strength. Only then can the battle result be determined. Emo Tianji's voice penetrated the clear sky pagoda. "It's a rare opportunity to learn. My injuries have stabilized. I'm not in a hurry." Night Sorrow shook his head. He watched while recalling the enlightenment he had just gained. When he was fighting with Scorpion Kwang just now, the energy of the beginning of destruction slash was constantly scattered. However, the scattered energy was mixed into one. The imperfect fusion had a point of connection. This gave Night Sorrow a direction to continue his deduction. Night Sorrow recalled Tran Heng's words. This might be the opportunity for him to break through the bottleneck. Of course, this opportunity did not come easily. Not everyone had the courage to dance on the tip of a blade like Night Sorrow. This was because one careless mistake could lead to death. It was a battle under high pressure. Emo Tianji praised Night Sorrow in her heart. Her admiration for him increased. First of all, Night Sorrow's control of the battle situation was on point. Second, his personal ability. Since ancient times, No cultivator at the level of the tribulation of the 4 emperors dared to say that they could withstand a few moves from a cultivator at the level of the tribulation of the 9 emperors. This was because they were too fragile. A single energy bombardment from a cultivator at the level of the tribulation of the 9 emperors could shatter the body of a cultivator at the level of the tribulation of the 9 emperors.
However, Knight Sorrow had withstood it. He was only injured. His origin and foundation were not damaged. This was too rare. It was a wise choice to give up on other things and watch the battle carefully.
It was not easy to see a battle between cultivators at the level of the tribulation of the 9 emperors.
Knight Sorrow watched the battle while recording it with a crystal ball. This was because he would analyze it later. This was also the path he would take in the future. Mo Tianji and Scorpion Kuang's battle lasted for a long time. After a day, Scorpion Kuang's combat strength had only decreased. Even if he was hit by 2-sword chi, Mo Tianji could not completely suppress him. However, Knight Sorrow knew that Scorpion Kuang would go downhill soon. His condition would deteriorate and he would be injured more and more. He would enter a cycle of nausea. When the injuries and energy reached a certain level, the outcome would be decided. Scorpion Kuang wanted to retreat, but Mo Tianji was too fast. Every time Scorpion Kuang tried to dodge, he would be intercepted by her. Tianji, you used to be famous. It's not baseless.
Amazing.
Knight Sorrow praised Mo Tianji. It's still too early, Mo Tianji replied. Knight Sorrow's main body was recovering. At the same time, he was researching the beginning annihilation slash. Although the low level of the peerless attribute was a huge factor, Scorpion Kuang's powerful impact had scattered the energy of the beginning annihilation slash. It had shaken them into one, giving Knight Sorrow an opportunity to make a breakthrough. At noon the next day, Scorpion Kuang's Dantian had been hit by Mo Tianji's sword. His condition had deteriorated and he was completely suppressed by Mo Tianji. Knight Sorrow knew that the outcome was about to be decided. However, it was hard to say if Mo Tianji could kill him.
After all, the cultivators of the tribulation of the 9 emperors had many tricks up their sleeves.
Mo Zhantian's escape from the celestial realm was an example. What are you thinking about? Mo Tianji's soul power had been paying attention to the clear sky pagoda.
She noticed that Knight Sorrow was thinking and asked,
if he burns his essence blood or soul power to escape, don't compete with him. It's not worth it to damage your origin, Knight Sorrow reminded Mo Tianji. So that's what you're thinking about. My battle with him is different from the battle between your Uncle Master and Mo Zhantian. The demon-winged clan has a pair of wings on their back. They are naturally fast. In addition, Mo Zhantian is burning his essence blood and power of faith. Your Uncle Master naturally can't catch up to him. However, even if Scorpion Kuang burns his essence blood, his speed won't be much faster than mine. Do you think he can escape? Mo Tianji's voice was filled with confidence. Scorpion Kuang was suppressed and seriously injured. He let out a furious roar. At this moment, Knight Sorrow's main body stood up. His injuries had healed. He planned to fight again. He wanted to organize his thoughts on the fusion of the beginning annihilation slash. On Chapter 1 equals. Chapter 22-20.
Damn bastard!
Scorpion Kuang scolded. They were in a passive position. Although Mo Tianji was powerful, Knight Sorrow had played a key role. If Knight Sorrow had not tried his best to stop him, he could have attacked Mo Tianji with Scorpionly instead of Scorpionly being killed by Mo Tianji. In addition, if the human Emperor's seal had not been suppressing him, he would not have been in a passive position, which led to a vicious cycle. Translator. Endless Fantasy Translation Editor. Endless Fantasy Translation, you're the bastard. You're a Tribulation 9 Emperors who can't do anything to a Tribulation 4 Emperors. Mo Tianji was displeased to see Scorpion Kuang scolding Knight Sorrow. She hated it when a cultivator talked with his strength. After being scolded by Mo Tianji, Scorpion Kuang did not know how to fight back because Mo Tianji was right. He waved his saber angrily and attacked Knight Sorrow's true body. Knight Sorrow did not dodge at all. He was here to fight head-on and find an opportunity to break through the beginning's great destruction slash.
Bang! With a muffled sound, the energy of Knight Sorrow's beginning's great destruction slash was dispersed and his body was sent flying.
However, Scorpion Kuang was not in a good condition either. Not only was he invaded by the beginning's energy,
but his chest was also pierced by Mo Tianji's long sword. Again. Although the corner of his mouth was red and he was already injured, Yi Soro's second attack came. After 2 clashes, Knight Sorrow did not have the ability to fight again. He flashed into the Haotian pagoda to meditate and heal himself. Then, he continued to study the perfect fusion of the beginning's great destruction / brainless. Scorpion Kwang scolded when he saw Knight Sorrow running away with injuries. You're the dumbest one. Can't you see that he's using you as a whetstone? He's playing with you. Mo Tianji mocked Scorpion Kwang. Scorpion Kwang did not know Knight Sorrow's intention, but how could Mo Tianji not know? Hearing Mo Tianji's words, Kwang Xie was very angry. He could only vent his anger on the battle. However, the situation was getting worse and worse. Mo Tianji's energy had reached a certain amount in his body and was constantly destroying it. Knight Sorrow's main body was cultivating while recuperating from his injuries. His doppelganger was naturally recovering while watching the battle. The battle was still ongoing. Scorpion Kwang tried to escape by burning his essence blood, but even so, his speed was not at an advantage. Mo Tianji kept pestering him. In addition, when he burned his essence blood to fight, Mo Tianji would avoid him and fight conservatively. When he stopped burning his essence blood, Mo Tianji would come and attack him. She would not give him a chance to escape or catch his breath. As soon as Knight Sorrow's main body recovered from its injuries, it came out to kill. After the second kill, Knight Sorrow's main body flashed into the Haotian godly pagoda and laughed. After the last clash, his primordial shattering slash had truly completed the fusion and fulfilled the feeling of Tran Hung. While Knight Sorrow was recuperating and cultivating, Scorpion Kwang was gradually losing. He was constantly suppressed by Mo Tianji's attacks and his body was full of holes. You won't have it easy either. Knowing that he could not hold on any longer, Scorpion Kwang roared and self-destructed. This time, Mo Tianji and Knight Sorrow could not control it. After all, the soul of the tribulation of 9 emperors was too strong and would not be easily affected. At the critical moment, Mo Tianji grabbed the human emperor's seal in the air with her left hand and used her precept domain to protect herself. She floated back and avoided the energy impact of Scorpion Kwang's self-destruction. Then, she threw the human emperor's seal at Scorpion Kwang's soul like a hidden weapon. All of this happened in the blink of an eye. The human emperor's seal wrapped in Mo Tianji's energy hit Scorpion Kwang's soul. As Scorpion Kwang's soul trembled, the golden characters outside the human emperor's seal flashed. The fire of merit appeared and enveloped Scorpion Kwang's soul. Scorpion Kwang's soul kept cursing in the space, but Mo Tianji did not care. She slashed at Scorpion Kwang's soul in the fire of merit with her long sword. Knight Sorrow, his main body, and his doppelganger also appeared. Although they were not in good condition, they could still use their spears. The Samsara halberd and the Blood Kirin evil slaying spear kept attacking Scorpion Kwang's soul in the fire of merit. After a while, Scorpion Kwang's soul dissipated. The battle is over. Just as you predicted, Mo Tianji said as she wiped the sweat off her forehead. She had been fighting for almost 3 days and it had been very tiring for her. You did well, Knight Sorrow said to Mo Tianji with a smile. You did even better, Mo Tianji said. You killed the 2 of them. You were the most important part. She felt that it was very strange. When she was young, she had gone out to train and had teamed up with others before, but she had never cooperated so well with Knight Sorrow. The 2 of them didn't even need to communicate to know how to cooperate and what the other was thinking. Haha. Drink a jar of wine and take a rest. Knight Sorrow laughed. He was very excited and felt a sense of accomplishment after killing the cultivators from the tribulation of 7 emperors and tribulation of 9 emperors with Mo Tianji. What made him happiest was that he had successfully integrated the primordial destruction slash. Although it was still lacking, it would not be a problem after practicing for a while. Mo Tianji smiled. She felt that this kind of battle was the charm of diligent cultivation. The battle was incisive and it was the perfect combination of battle tactics and strength. After sorting out the spoils of war from Xie Kuang and Xie Li, Knight Sorrow and Knight Sorrow's eyes were full of disdain. They were too poor. Other than the limited refining materials, there was nothing good. Fortunately, these 2 crystal cores are not bad. Otherwise, killing them would be a hassle, Mo Tianji said as she threw the 2 crystal cores to Knight Sorrow. Keep them for fun. The crystal cores of the cultivators from the tribulation of 9 emperors are the affirmation of your splendid battle record.
Night Sorrow threw the crystal cores to Mo Tianji. That's true. It's hard to kill the cultivators from the tribulation of 9 emperors. These crystal cores are the glory. Mo Tianji nodded. You should carve the words Mo Tianji too, Night Sorrow said with a smile. Mo Tianji shook her head. In the celestial realm and the 9 domains world, the word Mo is hated and misunderstood. I will be called Heavenly Concubine from now on. It has nothing to do with Mo. Heavenly Concubine. That's a good name. Night Sorrow nodded and watched Heavenly Concubine carve the words on the crystal cores. After carving the words on the crystal cores, Night Sorrow and Heavenly Concubine rushed back to the camp. However, Night Sorrow's original body and doppelganger had entered the clear sky pagoda to heal. His injuries weren't serious, but in this critical period, it was necessary to maintain peak combat strength. When Heavenly Concubine returned, Wu Lingfei and the others asked anxiously when they didn't see Night Sorrow. He's fine. He's a little injured and is healing. Heavenly Concubine took out the clear sky pagoda and placed it on the table in the commander's tent. Are you okay? Wu Lingfei asked Heavenly Concubine. Thank you. I'm fine. Heavenly Concubine was stunned. She didn't expect Wu Lingfei to care about her. This feeling surprised her. It's good that you're fine. Let's not talk about our success or failure. First, everyone's safety, Wu Lingfei said. Chapter 22-21. You don't have to be so polite. We're going to fight side by side. Besides, Night Sorrow treats you as a friend, so I treat you the same. Wu Lingfei smiled and pushed the crystal core back. Since you treat me as a friend, then take it as a small accessory. Heavenly Concubine stuffed the crystal core into Mo Tianji's hand. Update. And new F latest too fast / under. This is a crystal core? The energy it contains is terrifying. And the words, they're very new. Wu Lingfei said in surprise after looking at the crystal core. It's a crystal core. Today, Night Sorrow and I worked together to kill a cultivator. It's a milestone for me. I'm giving it to a friend who cares about me. It's very meaningful. Heavenly Concubine said. Then I'll take it. We're friends, so I can't reject good intentions. Wu Lingfei smiled and looked at the crystal core. 3 days later, Yishang, who had been recuperating inside the clear sky pagoda for nearly half a year, had perfectly fused the beginning annihilation slash, and had fully recovered from his injuries, came out of his closed-door training. He was in high spirits at this time. He was very satisfied with the return of such a difficult battle. In the command tent, Heavenly Concubine and Wu Lingfei were chatting. Wu Lingfei was also playing with the crystal core. Night Sorrow, how's your recovery? Wu Lingfei asked when she saw Night Sorrow appear. Very good. Not only did I gain from killing enemies, but I also gained from cultivation. This. Night Sorrow smiled and stretched his waist. Then, he saw the crystal core in Wu Lingfei's hand. Heavenly Concubine gave it to me. Does it look good? Wu Lingfei showed the crystal core to Night Sorrow. Of course it looks good. Not to mention the future, it should be the only one in the entire celestial realm right now. It's very meaningful. It's also a proof of Heavenly Concubine's cultivation path. I'll give it to you. It shows how good she is to you. Night Sorrow smiled. Wu Lingfei was stunned. After hearing Night Sorrow's words, she knew that the crystal core in her hand wasn't simple. It's the crystal core of the tribulation of the 9 emperors. Killing the tribulation of the 9 emperors is a milestone for the Heavenly Concubine, Night Sorrow explained, seeing that Wu Lingfei didn't know. Heavenly Concubine, I can't take this. It's too important to you. After knowing the whole story and the meaning of this crystal core, Wu Lingfei handed it to the Heavenly Concubine. When you asked me if I was okay, we were friends. To me, this is very important. It's just a gift. Just accept it. The Heavenly Concubine smiled. Don't you still have the tribulation of the 7 emperors? Give that to me and keep this one. Wu Lingfei still insisted, but in a different way. Heavenly Concubine, then let's do as my Aunt Fei says. That's not bad either. Night Sorrow said with a smile. The Heavenly Concubine nodded and took out Xia Li's crystal core.
She engraved a few words on it and gave it to the spirit concubine. She signed it as the heavenly concubine. I like this one. Wu Lingfei smiled. Has there been any movement from the demon scorpion army in the past few days? Night Sorrow asked. Wu Lingfei shook her head. There really hadn't been any movement in the past few days. We killed Xia Li's original body and doppelganger. Xie Kuang didn't have a doppelganger, so the news shouldn't have spread. Rest well, then we can take action. The heavenly concubine said. After drinking some water, Night Sorrow thought for a moment. It's not suitable for a large group to take action now. We don't know how many tribulation of the 9 emperors there are and how many cultivators can pose a threat to our group. We must first kill their high-level members, then move out and kill them. Okay. Then let's take the group with similar cultivation? Wu Lingfei asked. I'll go find Long Jin. Night Sorrow went out of the main tent and called Lin Chuan, Long Jin, Lin Yun, and Tianyu into the tent. He told them to gather the brothers above tribulation of the 9 emperors to fight later. Of course, there weren't many above tribulation of the 9 emperors. After the group was gathered, Night Sorrow explained the situation and let everyone feel the heavenly concubine's soul power. If there was a situation, they couldn't resist the pull of the heavenly concubine's soul power. This way, it would be easier for the heavenly concubine to rescue them. The members of the First Army and the God-slaying squad obeyed Night Sorrow's orders. Then, Night Sorrow told the rest of the group to wait. He, the heavenly concubine, Wu Lingfei, and Lin Chuan led a few others with decent cultivation to the encampment of the demon scorpion army. This time, they weren't going to scout. They were going to kill directly. The demon scorpion army had more than 10,000 people, but the members were mainly king and the emperor. There weren't many tribulation of the 9 emperors, and even fewer tribulation of the 9 emperors. Massacre. Night Sorrow led the group to kill the upper echelons of the demon scorpion race. The weaker members of the demon scorpion race didn't dare to go forward. The difference in cultivation was too great. If they went forward they would die. Therefore, Night Sorrow and the others weren't surrounded. They killed their way in and out of the demon scorpion race. Captain, call the others over. I feel like there's nothing wrong here, Long Jin shouted to Night Sorrow. Whose clone or main body is in the encampment? Bring the troops over and kill them. Night Sorrow shouted behind him. Then, his clones charged towards the demon scorpion race from different directions. He didn't defend at all. Because of the suppression of the precept domain and his tyrannical body, those with lower cultivation couldn't pose a threat to him. After 10 minutes, the First Army and the God-slaying team arrived. They began to kill the demon scorpion race that had lost their will to fight. 4 hours later, the demon scorpion race's troops were gone. Half of them had been killed, and the other half had run away. Night Sorrow led the group forward and found a special enchantment that he could enter. Heavenly Concubine and Wuling Concubine could enter as well. The others who approached were pushed back by the impact of the energy. Tianyu, who didn't believe it, was almost injured. It's the enchantment of the world tree. We can't force our way in. All right, everyone set up camp here. Night Sorrow gave the order to set up camp. If they wanted to get close to the world tree, they couldn't force their way in. Night Sorrow knew this. Tran Hung had already told him. If they could force their way in, Tran Hung and Scorpion Kuang would have gotten close. They wouldn't have waited for them to arrive. Night Sorrow looked at the world tree in the distance. The world tree was too big. Night Sorrow estimated that the world tree covered an area with a radius of more than 10,000 miles. The central area was hazy and couldn't be explored. It was blocked by layers of space. Night Sorrow, I tried just now. Although I can enter, the resistance is very strong. What about you? Heavenly Concubine looked at Night Sorrow and asked. At first there was. When I activated the virtuous immortal body, which should be called the virtuous Tao body now, the pressure decreased, Night Sorrow said. Heavenly Concubine thought for a moment and said, It seems that you still have a big advantage. The possibility of me getting close to Wuling Concubine is lower. Chapter 22-22. They had just fought a battle. Although the battle wasn't very intense, everyone was exhausted. Every cultivator had the awareness to fight in their best condition. If they couldn't solve the problem in their best condition, then it was because they weren't strong enough. There was no regret. After everyone recovered, Night Sorrow let Wu Lingfei's doppelganger stay behind with Long Jin to command the team. He brought Heavenly Concubine and Wu Lingfei's original body in. "Captain, be careful." Long Jin looked at Night Sorrow and said, "You'll have to work harder with the team. Safety comes first. Everything else is trivial," Yishan said to Long Jin. Long Jin nodded. After being brothers for so long, Long Jin understood Night Sorrow. He knew what Night Sorrow cared about the most. Tianyu, Yimei, Liangyu, cooperate with Long Jin. After Night Sorrow said that, he led Heavenly Concubine and Wu Lingfei towards the barrier of trees. Then, the three of them passed through the barrier. "The difference. They can go in, but we don't even have the right to." Ling Long sighed. Back in the day, she, Night Sorrow, and Yun Huang were the leaders of the younger generation in Tianji Tower. Now there was a difference between her and Yun Huang, but it wasn't big. However, the difference between her and Night Sorrow was indescribable. "Let's not look at the captain. Let's look at the others. We're already doing very well," Lei Bao said with a smile. Ling Long nodded. In fact, there weren't many cultivators in the celestial realm who were stronger than Night Sorrow, let alone them. "Let's set up camp here. Also let the spies out. We don't want other cultivators to suddenly appear and catch us off guard." "That would be embarrassing," Long Jin said. Following Long Jin's arrangement, the team started to set up camp. The spies were also sent out. Safety came first. They weren't in the 9-domain world, and they weren't in the celestial realm. They had to be on guard. "Imperial Concubine, do you have any other arrangements?" Long Jin looked at Wu Lingfei and asked. Whether it was the former members of the god-slaying team or those who had joined later, they all had a good relationship with Wu Lingfei and respected her greatly. "You've done a good job. I'm not as good as you in these matters. You can make the decision." Wu Lingfei smiled. "Everyone is worried about you. If anything happens, let us know." Long Jin nodded at Wu Lingfei. After Night Sorrow's trio entered the barrier, they started moving forward. Each of them had a different feeling. "Night Sorrow, there's a lot of pressure," Wu Lingfei said. "Should I try adding soul power into my domain?" Night Sorrow said. He and the Heavenly Concubine had precept domains, while Wu Lingfei was at the Imperial Tribulation Realm and had yet to come into contact with precept domains. Hearing Night Sorrow's words, Wu Lingfei did as she was told. When her soul force was added to the domain, the pressure was reduced. The so-called spirituality is mainly in the soul. Only by releasing your soul force can you display your spirituality to the fullest, Night Sorrow said. The Heavenly Concubine also released her soul force. Her cultivation was high, but the pressure had little to do with her cultivation. It mainly depended on her spirituality. The World Tree's suppression on her was also very strong. On the other hand, Night Sorrow was much better. At the beginning, he didn't use any defense. The World Tree's energy attacked his body, but it passed after a while. There was only a small amount of pressure. The Heavenly Concubine and Wu Lingfei naturally saw Night Sorrow's situation. They knew that this was the power of merit. The Heavenly Tao and all living things recognized him. The World Tree was no exception. "I really can't be envious." The Heavenly Concubine shook her head. Night Sorrow's path couldn't be copied by others. He had a good foundation. After having the foundation of a body of merit, he cultivated his body and virtue. He had been benefiting the living beings around him, causing his merit to constantly deepen. The three of them advanced very slowly. Night Sorrow's situation aside, Wu Lingfei and the Heavenly Concubine couldn't. They were greatly suppressed. Unspecified currency look. Regular A edition. K Super D/. There's no danger here. "Let's move forward slowly," said Night Sorrow. "It's not absolute. There are many life forms that covet the World Tree. Some of them are born with it. There's black and white in the world. Life forms are also opposites. The World Tree is a Holy Spirit object. It's very easy for it to be accompanied by something. It's definitely incomparably evil. If it's born with the World Tree, then it must be inside the World Tree barrier. We have to be careful," said the Heavenly Concubine. She had lived for 9 eras. 900 billion years was an extremely long time. Therefore, Night Sorrow and Wu Lingfei couldn't compare to her. She understood some things. Then it seems that we have to be careful. Night Sorrow didn't expect this situation. Yes. The world tree grows by absorbing the energy in the void. When it absorbs energy, it will also be absorbed by the life forms near it. Therefore, it will definitely grow quickly. We have to be careful. The appearance of the world tree is a great opportunity, but it's also a great risk, said the heavenly concubine. Night Sorrow nodded. Then, he released his Merit Dao domain and wrapped it around the heavenly concubine and Wu Lingfei, hoping to reduce the pressure on them. In fact, the effect wasn't obvious. The energy in the world tree barrier was like a wave that constantly slammed in all directions. Night Sorrow's Merit Dao domain was also permeated by this energy. This energy didn't suppress Night Sorrow, but it continued to suppress the heavenly concubine and Wu Lingfei. The world tree's spirituality is too strong. It has a natural ability to distinguish. Therefore, this kind of thing can't be hidden. It's just like how it can't be hidden from the spatial world, said the heavenly concubine. In the beginning, Night Sorrow had mentioned using a spatial treasure, but the heavenly concubine had clearly said that it couldn't be done. Spatial treasures couldn't resist the permeation of the world's origin power. It was the same principle as if someone used a spatial treasure to bring a cultivator who exceeded Night Sorrow's cultivation into the 9 regions world. It couldn't be hidden from detection. Now, Night Sorrow couldn't help Wu Lingfei and the heavenly concubine even if he wanted to. Then get behind me. My body can block some of the energy's repulsion. Night Sorrow took 2 steps forward and stood in front of Wu Lingfei and the heavenly concubine. It was effective. Because the energy in the world tree barrier was weak against Night Sorrow's body blocked it, and the power was greatly reduced. Heavenly concubine, the world tree can control such a vast amount of energy in the world tree barrier. How strong is she? Night Sorrow didn't quite understand because the energy in the world tree barrier was too vast and majestic. It's hard to say. She's naturally good at controlling power. You know my cultivation. Even if I force it, it's useless. I'll definitely be repelled. You see the wavy lines in front. They can fold space at any time. It's impossible to force it, explained the heavenly concubine to Night Sorrow. Chapter 22-23. Night Sorrow was in front, leading the heavenly concubine and Wu Lingfei forward. However, their speed was very slow. Even if they could withstand it, Night Sorrow couldn't ignore the energy suppression in the world of trees. While moving forward, Night Sorrow also released his soul power to investigate. The heavenly concubine said there was danger, so he had to be careful. After 2,000 miles, another obstacle appeared. It was a spatial barrier. It was the world tree's second line of defense. The first was the world of trees boundary, and the second was the overlapping space. Night Sorrow used his space-time power to tear open space and continue forward. After 3,000 miles, Night Sorrow saw the spatial barrier. After tearing it open, before Night Sorrow could continue forward, Wu Lingfei made Night Sorrow look back. When he looked back, Night Sorrow knew why Wu Lingfei was surprised. It was because through the wavy line, Night Sorrow saw the footprints he left when he tore open space. 3,000 miles is just a line? Night Sorrow turned to look at the heavenly concubine. Yes, this is the virtual space. It looks like a line to us, but it's not like that inside. It's the same principle as a storage ring. This is the world tree's defense method. If the world tree matures, then this virtual space will be infinitely large. This 3,000 miles is an immature method, said the heavenly concubine. Night Sorrow looked at the countless lines in front of him and felt a headache coming on. They were all spatial worlds. It was very difficult to pass through them. This is a difficult task in itself. The heavenly concubine shook her head at Night Sorrow. She was afraid that Night Sorrow would lose confidence. Night Sorrow continued forward with the heavenly concubine and Wu Lingfei. Night Sorrow didn't use any energy to protect himself. Now, he used his Merit Dao body to counteract the impact of the pressure. Heavenly concubine and Wu Ling concubine, who were behind Yi Shang, felt less pressure. They knew that Yi Shang was doing this to lessen their pressure. If it wasn't for the fact that their chances would increase, they wouldn't have needed to follow. Night Sorrow, there are so many spatial lines. It's very difficult.
Wu Lingfei said. I'll take care of this. If there's a fight, we'll fight together. Night Sorrow nodded to Wu Lingfei. Night Sorrow kept rushing forward, crossing one spatial line after another. In reality, he had only advanced less than 1,000 miles. The World Tree's ability to control the world origin is too strong. It's very difficult to get close to it, Night Sorrow said as he flew. Although Night Sorrow felt pressure while flying, he felt that his body was very smooth. What was attacking his body was the world's origin energy. It was a baptism for his body, a rare opportunity. Of course, not just anyone could do it. The Heavenly Concubine and Wu Ling Concubine didn't dare to let this energy attack them. The world's origin energy was too tyrannical and would harm their bodies. Although it was difficult, Night Sorrow was very excited. He knew what the World Tree was and what it represented. Not to mention taking the whole tree, even taking a root was incredible. With such an opportunity in front of him, he naturally had to give it his all. As Night Sorrow flew forward, the Celestial Realm's 100 races and Scarlet Sky Realm's 100 races fought. The Celestial Realm's 100 races sent out all their elites and launched a thunderous attack on Scarlet Sky Realm. The main reason was to end the battle before the Demon Wing Clan received the news. This way, they could focus on defending against the Demon Wing Clan. In addition, Demon Wing Clan's Zemo Zhantian had been chased by King Yawu and was severely injured. It would be difficult for him to recover in a short period of time. The Celestial Realm's 100 races elites, under the leadership of Tran Hung and King Yawu, did not use any strategy. They directly attacked Scarlet Sky City. Tran Hung fought with Yu Qing. King Yawu directly suppressed Tang Bing's attack. King Tian Xing, Bloodlin King, and White Tiger King directly slaughtered the other elites of Scarlet Sky Realm. After seeing the strength of the Celestial Realm's 100 races, Yu Qing's face changed. Shameless. You have such power. Why are you still talking about peace with us? In Yu Qing's mind, Tran Hung came to negotiate because they were not strong enough. Tran Hung was a tribulation of 9 emperors cultivator. It was difficult for a single person to make a boat. But now, it was not the case at all. I gave you a chance to coexist peacefully. But if you don't want to, then all of you can die. Tran Hung waved the long sword in his hand and began to suppress Yu Qing. $$ original de Butran Hung was the city lord of Heavenly Baron City. He was the leader of the 100 races of Celestial Realm. He was also the most powerful person. Yu Qing was suppressed directly. Tang Bing was a tribulation of 8 emperors cultivator. His strength was relatively strong, but he was not enough in front of King Yawu. King Yawu's 3 clones of tribulation of 9 emperors was cultivated as one. How could he resist? After the fight, King Yawu destroyed his original body in an instant. His clone realized that the situation was not good. It did not run far before it was restrained by White Tiger King. White Tiger King was not Tang Bing's opponent, but it could still restrain him. When Tang Bing repelled White Tiger King, King Yawu also caught up. What awaited Tang Bing was the fate of death. Tang Bing originally thought that discovering the Supreme World was an opportunity. He did not expect that it would be a dead end. King Yawu, who had killed Tang Bing, cooperated with Tran Hung, who had suppressed Yu Qing, and began to attack Yu Qing. This was a war, not a personal competition. So there was no face or morality. Knowing that the situation was not good, Yu Qing shouted, "Retreat! We, the Crimson Night Realm, will not invade your world in the future." Tran Hung and King Yawu did not speak, but the attacks in their hands were very fast. They could cooperate when the war was not started. Now that they had fallen out, the most important thing was to eliminate the threat. Yu Qing was not a match for either Tran Hung or King Yawu, let alone now that the two of them had joined forces. His situation was precarious. After a while, Tran Hung's sword cut off his left arm. Then, King Yawu's divine spear pierced through his back. A big hole was blasted from his shoulder to his chest. Knowing that he would die if he did not run, Yu Qing used his soul to leave his body. He used the self-destruction of his flesh to escape. Break! Yu Qing's soul ran very fast, but King Yawu's divine spear was even faster. The flying spear directly penetrated his soul, and more than half of his soul power was annihilated in one shot. "I am irreconcilable with you," Empress Li said. Before Tran Hung and King Yawu arrived,
Yu Qing's soul flew away quickly again. We are not afraid of you when you are at your peak. Why would we be afraid of your soul without a body? If you dare to appear again, we will kill you. Tran Heng's voice rumbled in the space. It was a warning to Yu Qing. Ye Wu, you take people to clean up here. I will go back to Tianhuang City first. It is too empty there. Tran Heng said. He still could not let go of Tianhuang City because it was the gateway to the war with the Demon Wing clan. Chapter 22-24. After Tran Heng left, King Ye Wu led his men to clean up the Crimson Sky Realm. The Crimson Sky Realm was not very large and was relatively close to the mysterious Sky Realm in the 9 Sky World Group, so it was not very difficult to clean it up. Knight Sorrow did not know about these things, but he was more at ease. Tran Heng and King Ye Wu were fighting together, so it would be a violent battle. Even if there were casualties in the battle, it would be over quickly, and it would not have much impact on the war between the Celestial Realm and the Demon Winged clan. In fact, the spies sent by Mo Yuqing really received the news, mainly because the Celestial Realm had mobilized a lot of troops this time. After Mo Yuqing passed the news back, Mo Zhantian felt that it was an opportunity and immediately notified Mo Yutian. The two planned to break into the Celestial Realm. What was the result? The result was that the two were repelled by Tran Heng. If not for the fortress of the Demon Imperial City, it would be difficult for the two to come out unscathed. This situation made Mo Zhantian very angry, but he did not blame Mo Yuqing. He was sure that the Heavenly Wasteland City was relatively empty. The news was correct, but with Tran Heng there, it was impossible for the Demon Winged clan to take it down. Mo Zhantian was a little nostalgic. If the 3 great heavens were here, then the 3 of them would fight together and take down the Heavenly Wasteland City now. Mo Zhantian was very clear about Mo Tianji's battle strength. After instructing Mo Yuqing to continue to scout for information, Mo Zhantian and Mo Yutian went into seclusion again. This time, the unlucky Mo Zhantian was once again struck by Tran Heng. Tran Heng was also more fortunate. He had only returned to the Heavenly Wasteland City for 6 hours, and the Demon Winged clan had already attacked. If the battle in the Crimson Sky Realm had really delayed him, or if he had returned a little later, the consequences would have been serious. In the world of trees, Knight Sorrow was shuttling through the Sumeru space. Ordinary people might be annoyed, but Knight Sorrow was not. He knew that he had to be patient at this time. There were many Sumeru worlds, but there would always be an end. If there was no change, he would still pass through these space lines. Knight Sorrow, Lin Yun's true body, which was originally in seclusion, has come out. She received some good news. The battle in the Scarlet Knight Realm is nearing its end. The Vice-Realm Lord of the Scarlet Knight Realm was killed. The Realm Lord's body was destroyed, and more than half of his soul force was annihilated. The other legions of Crimson World are being wiped out. Wu Lingfei, whose doppelganger was in the camp of the God-slaying squad, heard some news from Lin Yun's doppelganger. Good news. The Crimson Sky Realm is a hidden danger. It can be said that there is no threat now. That Realm Lord's body was destroyed, and more than half of his soul was destroyed. For a short period of time, there shouldn't be any threat. Knight Sorrow said. He was also relieved in his heart. There is another worrying matter. After dealing with the Realm Lord and Vice-Realm Lord of the Crimson Sky Realm, Lord Tran Heng returned to the Heavenly Wasteland City. Not long after, Mo Zhantian and Mo Yutian of the Demon Winged clan came to attack. Fortunately, they were repelled by Tran Heng. If Lord Tran Heng returned late, the consequences would be unimaginable. Wu Lingfei said. It seems that the spies of the Demon Winged clan are still very active. This is a great danger, but it won't be easy to eliminate them. Knight Sorrow thought for a moment and said, I don't know who is commanding the spies of the Demon Winged clan in the Celestial Realm. They should have some brains. Heavenly Concubine said. Mo Zhantian and Mo Yutian are not brainless people. The leader of the spies they sent to the Celestial Realm must be good at scheming. In addition, they can also directly command. Knight Sorrow said. Should be, but they shouldn't be able to hide for long. As long as they are active, there will be flaws. I'm just afraid that they won't be active. Wu Lingfei said. She was the domain lord of the Eastern Xian domain of the 9-domain world. As a commander, some of her analytical abilities were very strong. She also had some foresight.
Imperial Concubine's insight is also a cut above others. That is the truth. If they don't move, there won't be any flaws. As long as they are active, it will be easy to catch them. Heavenly Concubine looked at Wu Lingfei and said, Heavenly Concubine, this is just my personal opinion. Wu Lingfei said with a smile. As they chatted, Night Sorrow continued to move forward. He realized that his body was still evolving. Its strength was still at the level of the tribulation of the four emperors, but its charm was different. Night Sorrow could feel that its flexibility had increased a lot. After entering another space, Night Sorrow and the other two encountered an enemy. It was a demonic beast with a destructive aura around it. This is a fierce jackal. It is good at soul attacks and illusions. Heavenly Concubine said. Night Sorrow and Wu Lingfei didn't recognize this demonic beast that had just appeared. This demonic beast was covered in black fur. Its limbs, knees, legs, and facial features were full of scales. Its ugly face was full of smiles. That smile was somewhat unreal, but it was very terrifying. Night Sorrow and Wu Lingfei quickly set up a defense in the Divine Sea. They knew that Heavenly Concubine wouldn't speak without thinking. The fierce jackal in front of them was frighteningly strong. Night Sorrow could see that it was the cultivation level of the tribulation of the seven emperors. Look at 01R edition. Chapter Z section S section. Up. While Night Sorrow and the other two were defending, the fierce jackal began to attack. It directly pounced at Night Sorrow and the other two. Night Sorrow's right hand shook, and the Samsara halberd pierced out. It was directly the beginning of the Great Destruction Slash. The difference in strength between him and the fierce jackal was huge, so he used his ultimate move. Whoosh! Night Sorrow's attack missed. The fierce jackal swept past Night Sorrow and its sharp claws scratched Night Sorrow's shoulder. It tore Night Sorrow's robe apart and left 5 claw marks on his left shoulder. The fierce jackal didn't tear Night Sorrow's body apart, but some of its energy still rushed into Night Sorrow's flesh and caused a certain amount of damage. Then, Night Sorrow's Merit Dao body activated and forced the energy out of his body. Be careful. The Heavenly Concubine took out her long sword and prepared for battle. She didn't make a move directly because the fighting power she could display was limited. The amount of energy she could display here determined the amount of suppression and rejection she would receive. However, the vicious jackal was different. The vicious jackal itself was a product of this world. After Night Sorrow withstood the fierce jackal's first move, he quickly released his Dao domain. He had to use his Dao domain to suppress the fierce jackal's speed. Inside the Dao domain, his speed could also increase. After using his Dao domain, Night Sorrow's speed increased. Although he was still a bit slower than the fierce jackal, he could already deal with the fierce jackal's attacks. The fierce jackal's facial features squeezed together. Its terrifying smile constantly seeped into the hearts of Night Sorrow and the other two. At the same time, it let out chattering laughter. Illusion mental attack. Night Sorrow knew that the fierce jackal's smile and laughter were attacks. Those who were timid would be scared to the point of their soul collapsing. Night Sorrow's Samsara halberd kept attacking. At the same time, he was thinking of a way to defeat the fierce jackal. He was indeed in a passive position. Chapter 22-25. Night Sorrow nodded, and then used Soul Extinguishing Slash. Night Sorrow's Soul Extinguishing Slash was fast enough, but it was blocked by the fierce jackal's soul defense. The fierce jackal's soul attack was strong, but its defense was different from the Heavenly Concubine's estimation. Night Sorrow's Soul Extinguishing Slash didn't cut through its defense, but the negative illusion produced by the Soul Extinguishing Slash still affected it. The battle became a battle of soul illusions and negative states. Night Sorrow's soul illusion was a negative attack. It was to make the opponent indulge in it and lose the ability to fight. The fierce jackal's soul attack was a terrifying influence. Its laughter and laughter were like a nightmare, attacking Night Sorrow and the other two's minds. This was because the Heavenly Concubine's soul level was high, so she wasn't affected too much. Wu Lingfei had her racial talent, so her soul defense wasn't bad. Night Sorrow had the 9 domain origin pearls defense, so the fierce jackal's terrifying soul attack didn't have any effect. If it was any other cultivator, even if their cultivation was higher than fierce jackals, they would still be out of luck. This was because once they lost their mind, even if fierce jackal didn't use any other attacks,
the terrifying nightmarish soul attack would cause their soul to collapse. After the soul attack, the pressure on Night Sorrow and the other two lessened a bit. When the fierce jackal was defending, the terrifying nightmare attack's power was also reduced a bit. Merit Primordial Tao Domain. Night Sorrow released the power of merit to support his primordial Tao domain. Then, he used Space Crack continuously to restrict the fierce jackal's movement speed and position. Next, he used Primordial Shattering Slash. After the terrifying soul attack was ineffective, and its speed and movement space were restricted, the fierce jackal panicked a bit. It panicked because it was afraid of the heavenly concubine. It had the cultivation of the tribulation of 7 emperors, so it was afraid of the heavenly concubine. While the fierce jackal was thinking, Night Sorrow's attack arrived. Following a muffled sound, one of the fierce jackal's front claws was annihilated by the energy of Night Sorrow's reincarnation halberd. Night Sorrow's primordial attribute and the reincarnation halberd's destruction attribute wasn't something the fierce jackal could withstand. The fierce jackal was good at soul attack and speed, but its body's strength and the energy inside its dantian weren't outstanding. Therefore, it was at a disadvantage when facing Night Sorrow's all-out attack. Shadow Body Space-Time Realm. After injuring the fierce jackal, Night Sorrow used his movement technique. In an instant, he instantly chased after the flying jackal and attacked again. At this moment, the fierce jackal was still suffering damage from Night Sorrow's attacks. Its body flew backward, and it couldn't use its speed. It could only use its claws to block again. With another muffled sound, the vicious jackal's other front paw was destroyed by Yi Shang. However, when the vicious jackal was sent flying, it used its hind legs to kick Yi Shang's abdomen and chest. Then, it used the momentum to fly, recklessly rushing out of the spatial world. Under Yi Shang's soul force's detection, it entered another spatial line. This guy is too scary. Yi Shang, are you okay? Wu Lingfei asked Yi Shang. At that moment, Night Sorrow was in a sorry state. The fierce jackal's final kick was something he had completely endured. His precept domain had been shattered, and his robes had been torn apart. 2 bloody wounds had appeared on his chest and abdomen. His internal organs had been shaken, causing him to spit out a mouthful of blood. I'm a little injured. This fellow is indeed very powerful. Its terrifying soul attack can seep into the depths of our souls. If we can't withstand it, our minds will collapse, Night Sorrow said with a nod. Yes. If your soul defense is weak, even if you are only affected, if you don't handle it well, its terrifying laughter and voice will become a heart demon and nightmare. It will stay in your heart forever, said Heavenly Concubine. Night Sorrow got Heavenly Concubine and Wu Lingfei to wait for him. He entered the clear sky pagoda and began to recover with time acceleration. The fierce jackal's attack before it fled was very heavy. If it was an ordinary cultivator of the 4 Emperors' tribulation, I'm afraid they would have died, said Heavenly Concubine as she looked at the clear sky pagoda that stood to the side. I can't help much. Really? Wu Lingfei shook her head helplessly. She felt very powerless. She had seen the battle very clearly and knew that it was useless even if she helped. Translator, Timothy Under-Editor, Globe-Glotter. I can fight, but the result is that I will be repelled by the energy of the world of trees after I attack. Heavenly Concubine shook her head. Their current situation was different from Night Sorrow's. Night Sorrow had the Merit Tao body and Merit Tao domain, so he could suppress the energy produced by the battle. It wouldn't cause any major problems, and there wouldn't be any side effects. However, Heavenly Concubine and Wu Lingfei's battle had this drawback. Wu Lingfei and Heavenly Concubine stood motionless. When they didn't move, the repelling force they received wasn't too serious. They just stood there and waited for Night Sorrow to recover. While he was healing, Night Sorrow realized that not only were his internal organs shaken, but he was also poisoned. The fierce jackal's claws were extremely poisonous. When the fierce jackal used its strength to kick, it left 2 bloody wounds on his chest and abdomen. Then, the poison began to invade his body. He didn't pay too much attention at that time, but now he realized the existence of the poison. After activating the Merit Tao body, Night Sorrow realized that the fierce jackal's claws contained a very strong poison. It constantly collided with the reincarnation energy in his body. The poison wanted to destroy his body, but the reincarnation energy in his body blocked it near his wounds, not allowing it to take any further action. In a stalemate, Night Sorrow's reincarnation energy could only suppress the fierce jackal's poison and prevent it from spreading. It was more difficult to get rid of it. It's still very stubborn. Fire of Virtue. After muttering, Night Sorrow activated the Fire of Virtue to burn the flesh near his wounds. After the Fire of Virtue appeared, it rushed towards the already black flesh. Night Sorrow controlled the Fire of Virtue so that it wouldn't harm his own flesh. It began to burn and remove the foreign matter inside his flesh. The Fire of Virtue was the most yang, the most unyielding, and the most righteous fire. The fierce jackal's poison was and evil enough, but it still couldn't contend against the Fire of Virtue. It was slowly forced to retreat. Night Sorrow's chest emitted black smoke. The black smoke squeaked, but after being surrounded by the Fire of Virtue on the surface of Night Sorrow's body, it couldn't run away. After waiting for a while and seeing that Night Sorrow didn't come out, the heavenly concubine and Wu Lingfei rushed towards the clear sky pagoda. Night Sorrow's clear sky pagoda was open to the two of them. They could freely enter and exit. After entering the clear sky pagoda, the heavenly concubine and Wu Lingfei saw an astonishing scene. Night Sorrow's upper body was naked. There were 2 pitch-black wounds on his chest and abdomen. The wounds were squirming like 2 black poisonous snakes lying there. Moreover, black smoke was constantly emitting from the wounds. The black smoke was squirming inside the flames as if it was alive. It wasn't as if it was alive. If one looked carefully, the black smoke was alive. After being burned by the Fire of Virtue, the black smoke emitted a terrifying sound that made one's heart tremble and teeth turn cold. Let's go out. The heavenly concubine pulled Wu Lingfei out of the clear sky pagoda. Heavenly concubine, Night Sorrow was poisoned? Wu Lingfei's face was full of shock. She didn't know what that terrifying black smoke was, but she felt that it was poison. Chapter 22-26. The heavenly concubine pulled Wu Lingfei out of the clear sky pagoda as she was worried that Wu Lingfei would be affected by the poison. Just by looking at it, she knew that there was something wrong with the poison. Night Sorrow has the body of merit and the fire of merit. He will be fine. Let's wait for a while. Wu Lingfei shook her head. Although she was very worried about Night Sorrow, she had to comfort the heavenly concubine first since the heaven's fate was blaming herself. The heavenly concubine nodded. She naturally understood Wu Lingfei's good intentions. Night Sorrow realized that the poison in the poisonous jackal's claws was very overbearing. It even had intelligence and self-awareness. Its subjective consciousness was to destroy its own body, and those that were forced out of its body wanted to run away. Night Sorrow's fire of merit kept burning in his body, forcing the poison out of his body. Those that were forced out of his body were wrapped in the fire of merit, but he did not continue to burn them. If he increased the intensity of the burning, the poison would struggle fiercely. This way, Night Sorrow would not be able to focus on healing. This was a very long process. The heavenly concubine and Wu Lingfei waited for 4 days. Half a year had passed in the clear sky pagoda's time acceleration. The 2 ladies anxiously entered the clear sky pagoda again. They were really worried about Night Sorrow. When they saw Night Sorrow again, they realized that Night Sorrow's condition was much better. The wound on his abdomen was gone, and there was only a black spot on his chest. On top of Night Sorrow's head was a pitch-black poisonous snake, but it was wrapped in the fire of merit. This is no longer a poison. It is a poison spirit. Luckily, Night Sorrow has the fire of merit. Otherwise, even the 7 Sovereigns' Tribulation or 8 Sovereigns' Tribulations cultivation would be unlucky if the poison spirit touched him. He would have to give up his body and die under the 7 Sovereigns' Tribulation. Seeing that Night Sorrow was fine, the heavenly concubine felt more at ease as she explained to Wu Lingfei how powerful this poison spirit was. Seeing that Wu Lingfei did not understand, Mo Tianji explained to her what a poison spirit was and why it was so overbearing. The so-called spirit meant that it had some spirituality and had its own thoughts. The poison spirit was a poisonous creature that had its own consciousness and thoughts. Naturally, it was extremely domineering. When it came into contact with other things, it would erode them. Once it was done, it would become nutrients for its growth. Ordinary poison spirits could only erode the cultivator's body. The more powerful ones would enter the cultivator's soul through the body and destroy the cultivator's soul. The poison spirit above Night Sorrow's head should be a high-level poison spirit. Night Sorrow's body is very strong. He did not give it a chance to enter the divine sea after it took over his body, the heavenly concubine said as she looked at the black snake above Night Sorrow's head. What is the relationship between the poison spirit and the poison jackal?
Wu Lingfei asked.
They were born to complement each other. The poisonous jackal is a naturally poisonous creature, and the poison spirit was born to depend on it. Just now, the poisonous jackal ran away quickly, and the poison spirit entered Night Sorrow's body and did not leave in time. This resulted in the current situation.
It looks like this poison spirit cannot escape, said the heavenly concubine as she looked at the fire of merit on Night Sorrow's body. Feeling that he was almost there, Night Sorrow no longer used the fire of virtue to defend himself. Instead, he wrapped up the remaining poison in his chest and separated it from his body along with a small pinch of flesh. At this moment, all the poison in Night Sorrow's body had been cleansed completely. Night Sorrow opened his eyes and looked at the poison spirit above his head. Then, he nodded at Wu Lingfei and the heavenly concubine. Do any of you know what this thing is? It is very difficult to deal with. If we are not careful, we will lose our lives. Stay away from it. Translator, Endless Fantasy Translation Editor. Endless Fantasy Translation. The heavenly concubine told Night Sorrow everything she knew. It was born from heaven and earth. It looks like it has a strong background. Luckily, the fire of merit is its nemesis. Otherwise, I really would not know how to deal with it. Not only is this fellow poisonous, but it also has the same destructive attribute as the vicious jackal. Night Sorrow narrowed his eyes as he sized up the poison spirit, who was moving back and forth within the fire of merit. That is not a vicious jackal. It is a poisonous jackal. It is even scarier than the vicious jackals recorded in history books. That thing is very vengeful and is also very smart. I think it will not let this matter rest and will take revenge on us, the heavenly concubine said. It is too fast. It is very difficult to deal with it. Once the poison spirit leaves it, it will no longer have any poison in its body. It will be less of a threat. The next time it comes, we will think of a way to kill it. Night Sorrow could not think of a way to deal with that poisonous jackal. As long as we can control it, it will be easy to deal with it. Next time, Night Sorrow, use your human emperor's seal to suppress it and then control its movements. This way we will be able to use small amounts of energy to attack it. The heavenly concubine said what Jiang Yi was thinking. Night Sorrow nodded as he continued to control the fire of merit and started to burn the poison spirit. The poison spirit was too domineering. It was a scourge. Jiang Yi had to get rid of it. Also, there was no way he could subdue it. The poison spirit had some spiritual intelligence, but it was not so intelligent that it would listen to orders. It was just that it could instinctively attack. With the help of the human sovereign seal and the canon of merit, Yi Shang spent 2 months refining the 2 poison spirits. In the end, he left behind a pearl. The heavenly concubine told Night Sorrow that the pearl was a treasure. It depended on how it was used. The poison pearl could release poison and also absorb hundreds of poisons. If someone was poisoned, they could use the poison pearl to absorb the poison. Night Sorrow gave the poison pearl to Wu Lingfei. He had the merit Dao body and was almost invulnerable to poison. The heavenly concubine's cultivation level was high. She could also ignore some poisons. The 3 of them exited the clear sky pagoda and continued to move forward. However, they were much more careful now. A poisonous jackal was already so ferocious. If they were not careful, they could easily fall. When they entered the second spatial world, the heavenly concubine sent a voice transmission to Night Sorrow that the poisonous jackal was tailing them. It is like a haunting soul. What a detestable nightmare. I want to tear that terrifying face apart. Night Sorrow cursed in a low voice. The poisonous jackal's squeezing face with an evil smile made him feel extremely disgusted. Its face and voice can cause fear and irritation in the bottom of your heart. Pay attention and don't be affected. Let's see how we cooperate to kill it. The heavenly concubine said. Night Sorrow was thinking of a solution. If this poisonous jackal was not dealt with, it would be a disaster sooner or later. It was too vengeful. If they were not careful, it would be easy to be ambushed by it. It could even jump out and bite them during other battles. This guy is too cautious and smart. How can we let it take the bait? Wu Lingfei said. The 3 of them knew that this was a problem. Jackals have a weakness, and that is their lust. They are all incomparably lustful.
The heavenly concubine's voice was a bit low. I won't consider that. Knight Sorrow hesitated for a moment. He could not let the heavenly concubine or Wu Lingfei go and seduce that disgusting poisonous jackal. Knight Sorrow, you're thinking too much. It won't succeed. I'll do it. The heavenly concubine smiled and said, No. No one can do it. I'll think of a way to solve this. Knight Sorrow looked at the heavenly concubine and shook his head. Whether it was the heavenly concubine or Wu Lingfei, he would not allow such a strategy. Chapter 22-27. Knight Sorrow, don't reject this idea. It's actually a strategy. When we enter the next spatial world, I'll change my appearance and hide my cultivation. I'll wait in one place while you guys wait in the spatial treasure. Once it takes the bait, you'll attack at the right time. Don't let its rotten claws touch me, or I'll be disgusted to death. The heavenly concubine smiled. Knight Sorrow still wanted to say something, but the heavenly concubine shook her head. She felt that this method was feasible. She also wanted to help. She had pride in her heart. Before, she wasn't a weakling who followed behind anyone. She didn't want to be an irresponsible person in Knight Sorrow's heart. Wu Lingfei also shook her head at Knight Sorrow. We just need to be careful. That poisonous jackal can't threaten the heavenly concubine. Without saying anything else, Knight Sorrow led the two women forward. After leaving this spatial world and entering the next spatial line, Knight Sorrow and Wu Lingfei entered the clear sky pagoda. The heavenly concubine put the pagoda in her robe and flew for a while before finding a place to rest. At the same time, she shook her energy and changed her appearance to Wu Lingfei's. She took off her veil and deliberately hid her cultivation. Then, she took out a teapot to make tea. Wu Lingfei's soul power sensed all of this and let out a sigh. You're a very good friend. Actually, I'm the most suitable bait to lure that poisonous jackal. Heavenly concubine, you're worried that I'll be in danger, so you changed your appearance to replace me. Let's be more careful. Don't let her be in danger. Not even a little bit. Knight Sorrow said. Don't think too much about it, you two. Have you noticed? The closer we get to the world tree, the denser the energy in this space becomes. It really is a natural place for cultivation. The heavenly concubine's soul power communicated with Yi Shang through the clear sky pagoda. Yes, but the world tree doesn't reject it. How are you now? Knight Sorrow asked. After entering this spatial world, Knight Sorrow and Wu Lingfei had entered the clear sky pagoda. They didn't have the time to experience this spatial world. The heavenly concubine sensed the space and said to Knight Sorrow, The pressure is okay. It's mainly because I've covered my body with my soul power. I've pushed my spirituality to the max, so it's okay. If I fight and use more power than a high-level tribulation emperor, I'll be expelled. Knight Sorrow didn't say anything. His doppelganger appeared from his body. Then, he and his doppelganger both held weapons. He was ready to fight because the heavenly concubine couldn't use her true fighting strength right now. The venomous jackal had appeared, but it had used an illusion to hide itself in the folded space. If one didn't pay close attention, they wouldn't have noticed it. Knight Sorrow and the other two had stopped by to deal with it. Naturally, they had discovered its tracks. The heavenly concubine was drinking tea while observing the surroundings. She even took out a cloud bed from her storage ring and leaned on it to rest. Heavenly concubine, your posture is really seductive. I think the venomous jackal won't be able to resist. Seeing the heavenly concubine's posture, Wu Lingfei smiled. She was mainly trying to ease the atmosphere. It's okay. Although there are some things I haven't experienced, I still know some things. The heavenly concubine didn't deny Wu Lingfei's words. She wanted to seduce the venomous jackal. Naturally, she had to work hard to achieve this goal. She could casually display a seductive posture. Although she knew that Knight Sorrow was watching, she was a bit embarrassed. Heavenly concubine, it will pay a price. It will die an ugly death. Knight Sorrow promised. He was a bit annoyed. The heavenly concubine had to pay a big price for a beast. Of course, Knight Sorrow also knew that this wasn't just about killing the venomous jackal. The venomous jackal's existence was a threat to their next move. When other threats appeared, the venomous jackal would join forces with other opponents to deal with them. It was necessary to deal with it in advance. The venomous jackal slowly got closer. At the same time it carefully probed. The venomous jackal was sly and cunning. The reason it wanted to chase after Night Sorrow and company was that it hated Night Sorrow a lot. Night Sorrow had destroyed its 2 front claws. Another reason was that the poison spirit had left it. Its poison's power had decreased greatly. It had to find the poison spirit. Mo Tianji lay on the cloud bed. She pressed the scabbard of her long sword under her body. She could draw her sword at any time. Seducing the venomous jackal was one thing. She also minded if the venomous jackal looked at her closely. Hence, when the time was right, she would strike. Night Sorrow's soul spirit spread out in the form of a Dao domain. He observed the venomous jackal's every move. The venomous jackal's disgusting, smiling face was locked on by him. Night Sorrow, don't get too worked up. Let it enter our attack range. We have to kill it in one strike. We cannot give it a second chance to escape. If you think I'm at a disadvantage, when you smash its face, destroy its eyes as well. The heavenly concubine's eyes were naturally the venomous jackal's eyes. I will. I'll smash its crooked mouth. If it still smiles, it won't be able to smile in the future. Night Sorrow nodded. The venomous jackal was very sly. However, its lust was its fatal weakness. When it noticed the heavenly concubine's presence and her alluring figure, it was slowly losing its sense of caution. Night Sorrow's grip on the samsara halberd tightened and relaxed. He was already prepared for battle. Disgusting! Wu Lingfei cursed. The venomous jackal was indeed shameless to a certain extent. In the illusion realm, its male characteristics were very obvious. It was very ugly. Night Sorrow didn't say anything. He was waiting to fight and kill. The heavenly concubine was also very angry. She somewhat regretted using this strategy because the venomous jackal's current appearance was blasphemy to her. It was an insult. The closer the venomous jackal got to the heavenly concubine, the lower its vigilance. The heavenly concubine was a woman who had lived for 9 eras. She understood human nature and beastly nature. Regardless of whether she raised her hand or raised her foot, it was filled with temptation. Of course, beneath this was an infinite killing intent. Only she knew the anger in her heart. When the venomous jackal pounced towards the heavenly concubine made her move. The long sword under her body drew an arc of lightning and pierced towards the venomous jackal's head. At this time, Night Sorrow appeared. His main body and avatar appeared at the same time. 2 soul-extinguishing slashes and 2 spatial rifts that restricted the venomous jackal's movement were released at the same time. Then, the samsara halberd used the beginning to shattering slash towards the venomous jackal. The avatar also used the blood Qilin vanquishing evil spear. The venomous jackal dodged the heavenly concubine's sword but was struck by Night Sorrow's samsara halberd. When it retreated, Night Sorrow's avatar's blood Qilin vanquishing evil spear pierced through its back. After the successful attack, Night Sorrow's avatar's left hand grabbed the venomous jackal's hind leg. After swinging it, he fiercely smashed it down. At the same time, he used his knee to smash it upwards. Following a cracking sound, the venomous jackal's ribs and sternum were broken by Night Sorrow's attack. Damn bastard, you dare to have ideas about anyone. A sword light flew towards the venomous jackal's crotch. You're tuning in to the Xiaofan's Wuxia Tales YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.